to seeing it on the YouTube channel in the community section. So it's no format. I will answer the phone if the phone rings during my stream today, and anybody can call in. We have a bunch of different subjects to talk about today. And the main lead in is the announcement yesterday, unofficially, it's not totally official yet, but it's coming, that the new head coach of the senior men's national basketball team for Canada is going to be Gordon Herbert, who was the former coach of Germany that took Germany to the FIBA World Cup gold a couple of years ago, and also did very well at the Olympics last year also. So he's a man who comes with experience. He's Canadian, born in British Columbia, and he has a vast international experience coaching, not just a North American experience. This guy's coached all around the world, and he's done very well. In fact, I'm very happy about this. This is the person that I was hoping they would hire. I had a short list of 3, and Jama and Nate Mitchell and Gordon were the 3 nominees that I thought were the best for this job. And in some ways, I didn't want to get Jama, because in some ways Jama is involved with the Raptors too closely. And the things we learned from Nick Nurse and being in both camps of Team Canada and the Toronto Raptors, it didn't work out very well for certain reasons. So this is more reliable. And Michael Grange at Sportsnet is reporting that the contract is through 2028. So he will be involved in the team through this whole Olympic cycle to be the head coach. Is what we want. So, we'll see how he does during this period. And who knows, he could be the coach after that also. But yeah, it was unofficially announced, but pretty much a sure thing, that the new coach of men's team, senior men's team, SGA, Dylan Brooks, Jamal Murray, all those guys, RJ Barrett, is Gordon Herbert. And I think it's a great choice. I mean, he's had current success recently with coaching Germany the last few years. If you ask Dennis Schroeder how he feels about Gordon Herbert, he might have mixed feelings, but he'd probably tell you he's a very good coach, and he's good. He knows what he's doing. In some ways, you don't necessarily want an NBA coach, because some of the NBA coaches that have done things in the Olympics and international games have not done as well. I'm not going to lie. You could think about Steve Kerr. Sure, USA kicks butt, but a lot of people are saying Steve Kerr has not been a good coach for USA for their national team. You could think about Jordy even for us. Jordy had a certain amount of experience internationally already, but in some ways, he fell short at the Olympics with Canada last year. So now Gordon, who has more international experience, he's a Canadian-born player, coach, which is something that I really like. That we're showing that our country is rising up as a basketball power by having a coach that's actually from our country. Yeah, Gordon, this isn't his first time around Team Canada, important basketball stuff. He was on an Olympic Canadian team. That's right. He played at Los Angeles for Team Canada in the Olympics on our basketball team. So he was on Team Canada as a player. So he has a history and a legacy to that. And not only that, he's been an assistant coach for Team Canada 2 different times in his career. He was an assistant coach for Team Canada around 2001, 2002. And then more recently, he was an assistant coach for Team Canada around 2018, 2021. And he was assistant both times. He's also been an assistant coach on the Toronto Raptors, guys. Gordon Herbert did serve as an assistant coach on the bench of the Raptors from 2008 to 2009. So there you go. He's a former Raptors coach. He's a former assistant coach of Team Canada twice at 2 different periods, with the Steve Nash era and then, just about 8 years ago. And he's also actually a player that played on Team Canada in the Olympics at the Los Angeles Olympics in 1984. Gordon Herbert. There you go. There's the resume. At FIBA World Cup gold in the Philippines 2 summers ago with Team Germany and Dennis Schroeder and Franz Wagner. Yeah. So I like the move. The guy has proven that he has systems that work on the international stage. And in some ways, I'm intrigued to see how he will utilize the ultra-talented Canadian team. And the thing is, Gordon is going to have some guys coming down the pipeline for him in this program, like Oliver Ryu. And Zach Edey's already there. So we've got some real good size that he'll be able to work with. Of course, that German team is a very big team for the most part. They used a lot of size and a lot of aggressiveness around the basket in the lane. much like a lot of the European teams like Lithuania and Croatia, not Croatia, Serbia. Yeah, those teams are stacked with size, and in some ways, Canada will have that more. And we'll have to see though, how will Gordon utilize an ultra supreme MVP talent like SGA, Dylan Brooks, RJ Barrett. These guys are really good players. Luget's Dort. It'll be really, really fun to see how Gordon runs this team, and we'll have to see what kind of success he gets. So I'm excited about this news. It's the Thursday Think Tank. What do you guys think about the hiring of Gordon Hebert as the next head coach of the senior men's national Canadian men's basketball team? It's a big deal. It's a very prestigious job at this point. This is a job that's fun. People that want to coach Canada at this point, because Canada's got SGA, and that's fun. I'm telling you right now. So y'all call me up and let me know how you feel about that. How you feel about Gordon Hebert. That's right. It's cool. I think it's going to be a good fit. We'll see. Hopefully he'll have success and things will go good. We've got lots to talk about today. The next thing I want to do right now is a retraction from yesterday's stream. I was a little bit too hard on Giannis Antetokounmpo yesterday, and I want to apologize to him. I want to retract a lot of my statements that I said about the incident between him and Halliburton's father. I did not see part of the film. And this, after I got off the stream, I watched more about it and investigated, and I was like, holy crap, John Halliburton is a piece of garbage, and he should have never done what he did. And you guys were exactly right. Giannis was exactly in the right, and I apologize for not getting with you guys on that. And you guys were right. I was wrong. And I want to apologize to Giannis. You were classy. I love what you said afterwards in the interview. You said about being humble and the things about your father. And yeah, John, that Halliburton, really, really classless. And some people are pushing to get you banned from courtside. And well, I say they have an argument. You know, I didn't realize he had gone so far out on the court and holding up the towel and taunting Giannis to his face with profanities. Very, very classless. And there's no place for that for a civilian. You're not a player. That's a sacred court where they play on that court. And in some ways, if you did that from the sidelines, from your seat, I would have been okay with it. But you literally walked out on front of the court and stood in front of him. I didn't even see that part. So that's part of my basis from what I was saying yesterday. I just thought Giannis came over and started. I saw the part afterwards where Giannis got in his face and was talking to him after that happened. And I didn't see John and what he was saying. I just saw Giannis getting mean mugging in his face. I thought at first they were friends and they were just really intense. But it was really Giannis was teaching him a lesson and telling him some things to his face about humbleness. And John was just not getting the picture. Tyrese Halliburton, of course, coming out afterwards in the press conference saying he's embarrassed by his dad. He didn't say exactly he's embarrassed, but he said his dad's actions were absolutely wrong, and that he talked to his dad about it, and the Pacers organization talked to him about it. So he got in a lot of shit. A lot of different people talked to him about it. Is you can't do shit like that, bro. Yeah, I know you're excited. I know you want to do this, but you can't be doing shit like this. You really can't. And, well, the backlash is strong, and a lot of people are saying he should be banned from NBA games. I mean, I think that's a little overkill. Maybe they give him one warning, and if he ever does anything like this ever again, for sure. Because seriously, he may have been ignorant to the fact that he could get banned from the games for doing something stupid like this. And maybe they give him a little bit of warning, but I'll bet you he'll never, ever do this again. Seriously, he's probably so embarrassed at this point. He thought he was just being okay. Coming out, whoa, my son, we beat you. This is what we do. This is what we do. This is what we fucking do, is what he said. So stupid, man. And like Giannis, I get it, man. You're a competitor. You're feeling the sting of defeat in that moment, and you have this jabroni waving a flag of the guy who just beat you to your face, the most overrated player in the NBA. And I kind of agree with that, honestly, even though he did make the big shot to win that game for them. So I apologize to Giannis. You're a real role model in this. In fact, I really, really like what you said. You're a really good role model on this. And I was wrong about some of the things I said yesterday. So my retraction, I hope you guys will take it right here. We had a new open gym drop yesterday, which was absolutely fantastic. We got more insight in looking at what Darko does as a coach with the Raptors, just how he carries himself. We know more recently that Darko has a sharp edge where he will be very biting with the players and honest about what they need to do. We saw a clip of him talking to Ochai Agbaji saying, you're being too timid. Go out there and have fun and just go out there and do your thing. I believe in you. That sounds like the best kind of coach you could have. Is not a ass kisser, a people pleaser, a player's coach, a coach that is a player's coach, but also can be real straight with them. And honestly, I think that they all really do find it refreshing that the coach will tell them straight up what they need to do better and not pussyfoot around. Chris Boucher has been very open about that. And we found out more from Chris yesterday. Excellent interview by Lindsey Dunn with Chris Boucher, illuminating a lot with Chris Boucher and where his head is right now, as far as with what happened this season with not playing, and also what his future is with the free agency this summer. And we'll talk about that in a second. But Darko has the respect of his team, and he can tell Grady Dick this. He can tell Scotty that, and they will listen to him. They won't take it personally if he's telling them criticism. And that's a really, really powerful thing, because they'll get better faster. And like everybody said in that open gym, everybody's hungry to learn. Everybody's like eating it up. Like, and just, please, may I have another serving, is what's going on. As far as like, this is what you need to do to get better, Grady. This is what you need to do to get better, Jamal Shed. This is what you got to do, Jacoby. They're eating it up. And they're like, yeah, give me more, Darko, because I personally want to get better as an individual player, and I want us to get better as a team. I love what Darko said at the beginning of that open gym when he's opening up. He said, listen, the goal is just this. The Larry O'Brien. And put it up on the screen and say, if not, and any of y'all have any other goals that you want to go for right now, get the hell out of my door. Leave right now. If you're not with us and you don't believe that the Raptors can win a championship, you need to fucking leave this room right now, is basically what he said. He's funny, man. He's awesome. He's charismatic. He has a way with words. He's a motivator. And man, I'm so glad he's our coach. Seriously, that may be one of the biggest takeaways I took from that open gym episode that dropped yesterday, is that I am so glad that Darko's our coach. And then Scotty, the stuff about Scotty, how much he cares about the team, how much he loves the team, how much he's committed to the team and trying to do things. Like, listen, Scotty is a bedrock of our team. He's a foundation. He's an important player. Everything is around him. It orbits him, but he is a best kind of thing to orbit around, because he's selfless and all of his intentions and his goals are in the right place. And that's what I found from yesterday. It was Scotty, and seeing the clips of him taking Jacoby Walter out shopping before rookie season, bonding with Jacoby right away. I mean, that's smart in ways, Scott. That's smart, because you see Jacoby. You've seen his potential that he could possibly grow into. Now, you want to be good with him right from the bat, right? Because in some ways, you want that rook to always look up to you and think of you somebody good. So Scotty fitting the bill for a bunch of vintage, awesome clothes for Jacoby Walters. Real good way to get in his good graces. Jacoby's like, yeah, I love Scotty. Scotty didn't have to do this. He's looking out for his rook. That's a really quick way to bond right there. Brilliant move by Scott. In some ways, it's sad he doesn't take all the rookies, but he can't do that. He took the first rounder. And, Jonathan's his friend. He's not going to worry about him. Jamal's cool with him. Jamal said he's very eager to follow the lead of Scotty in that open gym, and that he trusts him, and he's like the great kind of player to have as your main guy. It's really true. Seriously, we could have a 30-point scorer, this very usage high kind of leader of our team. It's not conducive for an overall team effort to rise up altogether. You need a player like Scott, like a player like Magic Johnson, a player like Jason Kidd, that Scott is, a superstar like that. Because that kind of superstar will raise everybody's games around him much more. LeBron, Jordan, they brought up their teammates' games for sure. Michael Jordan, LeBron James. But Magic Johnson brought up his teammates' games in a whole other way. And that's what I'm talking about. And that's the way Scott does it. And that's what is going to be very, very good about picking him to be our franchise face over like a player that's going to go out there and get 35 points and just score a lot of points and stuff like that. You need that hub. You need that kind of player. You need that player like Nikola Jokic. Yeah. Giannis name dropped Scotty in the press conference after the game, saying that there's more and more forwards playing point forwards in this league. And he named 3 guys, and 2 of them were former Raptors. He named Siakam, he named Paulo Banchero, and then he named Scotty Barnes. And Giannis recognizing that, he wants to be more like Scotty is what he said. More like a passing forward and more of a point forward. And that's interesting to me. In some ways, Giannis, you're trying to be like Scott in that way, and Scotty's trying to be like you for the down the hill, going into the lane. I'm going to score on your ass like a freight train kind of action. He wants that from you. Yeah, Scotty watching on Twitch the playoff games the other day. He was in awe of some of these players going in downhill. Like, oh man, look at how he went downhill. I think it was Amon Thompson actually. You saw him playing against the Warriors, and he saw how he made a move from the top of the key down through the lane and laid it up with strength coming downhill. And he's like, yeah, I like that coming downhill stuff. He wants to do that more. Be more like RJ Barrett. That's right. There you go. Yeah, there's other stuff I want to talk about. Lloyd just dropped the 4 files from Thailand, and I posted the link in the Discord. It's also it just dropped. Like, it's 4-minute clip of highlights from them traveling around in Thailand on their trip recently. It's fun. It's goofy. It's a nice little edit, Lloyd. You have an artistic eye, and you caught the essence of that trip in some ways. It's very, very cool. Of course, Scotty talking about it, saying that, you want to go on a trip like this with your friends because it's a great experience. If y'all ever get a chance to travel internationally with your friends, it's so fun, is what Scotty's saying. He enjoys it immensely in that. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about today. Gordon and Bear, Chris Boucher clears the air, open gym episode, Lakers eliminated. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about today for sure. So let's get to it. If you want to call me, the number is up in select places. If you have access to the number, you have the ability to call me. You go ahead and do it if you want. Trevor J's first in with the words of wisdom. Growth is a process. You don't just wake up one day and have everything you've always wanted. It's a process to receive everything you want in your life. You must learn to be determined and patient. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Sometimes, the best things take time to develop, and you got to put some effort and time into getting them. And that's totally true. Thank you for your words of wisdom, Trevor. I appreciate it. And thank you for, I guess, Trevor sending me more stuff in the mail. If it just goes to the post office. I just need to go pick it up. If you send it through the mail, Trevor, I just have to go to the post office. If it's UPS, then I have to wait for them to come here. So in some ways, it's better for you to send it in the mail because they'll just hold it at the post office. I don't have a mailbox. So if they come by and drop this stuff off, they have to come to my door because I don't have a mailbox on the street. And so I'll probably go to the post office and pick it up. That last package was just sitting there for a couple weeks. They have no problem. They're holding on my mail for me at the post office. I just drop by and pick it up. So I'll probably drop by there. I don't know if I'll go by today. I might go by tomorrow and pick it up tomorrow. Yeah. Let's see. Trevor's saying that Rudy Gobert dominated the Lakers last night for the win. 27 points, 24 rebounds. 24 points allowed on drive. Defense on Luka. Charles Barkley said he can't even guard a chair. Charles very outspoken these days. Charles exactly right on his takes about Halliburton's dad. And then also, yeah, that sounds about right. This is the thing. I told Lakers fans, y'all want sizzle, sizzle, sizzle all day. You're never going to get steak. And, well, Anthony Davis was a bit of steak that you had on your team. But now he's gone. You traded steak for more sizzle. And sizzle don't win championships. No defense don't win championships. Luka is sizzle, man. Luka is sizzle. I wish that he was more of a steak kind of player, but he isn't. He's a showman. He does fancy stuff. He makes kids want to watch basketball because he's fun to watch. He makes trick shots. He does crazy things on offense, but that's all sizzle. That is not steak. That is not winning basketball. That's what I say when I say sizzle and steak. That's what I mean. Sizzle is Vince Carter's dunk competition. That didn't win jack shit. And his career was not steak. It was more sizzle. Sure, I'll give him steak for longevity and being in the league for 4 decades, but I won't give him any stake for winning in anything of any substantial thing in the NBA because he didn't win a championship, and he didn't go all the way. He got as far as us with the Philadelphia, and then he did a little bit of things with Dallas later on, but that's it. No championship for Vince Carter. That's what I was saying. Luka, man, you're gonna be one of these sizzle guys. Maybe no steak for you, bro, because in some ways, if you don't play defense, you don't win championships. And that's why I don't want a high usage max player like Luka Doncic on my team that don't play both sides of the court. No, because you won't ever win with these guys. And especially if you got lazy ass LeBron with him, who's going to half-ass play defense half the time. He may play sometimes, some trips down the court, but a lot of trips down the court, LeBron just stands there. Like, he lost the ball in the playoffs this year at one point, and he just froze. He just stood there. And everybody ran back the other way and scored the other basket. Like, he just gave up. Like, see, that's like that kind of energy is not good for your leader. It's not good. In some ways, your leader sets the tone on everything. And LeBron has been setting a poor tone as a leader on his teams for a long, long, long time. He really has. Now, when he was younger, he could be gifted and overcome it and like totally carry his team by himself, but he can't anymore. And in some ways, the leadership that he shows other players is not working. Players come to LA and they get worse than they were in other places. Anthony Davis is a good example. He was way better on the Pelicans than he was on the Lakers. I'm serious. And he'll be better on the Mavericks than he was on the Lakers too, going forward. So it's like, it's something about LeBron. It's something about his work ethic. It's something about the way he carries himself around the team. It's too lackadaisical, and it rubs off on the rest of them. And then Rob Pelinka is a horrible GM. He just doesn't know how to build a winning team. And they have done this over and over again. First round exit, miss the playoffs, first round exit. I'm just happy the NBA didn't try and convolute win in this series against the Timberwolves somehow, some way by manipulation overly. Maybe they were really trying to manipulate the games and help them as much as possible. They are such a failure that they can't even do it with the help. I mean, you don't want to prop them up so artificially that it is so apparent, Adam Silver. There's only so much you can do to make a cash cow go in the playoff show. And we're smart. We can see when you're really helping them, overly helping them. So he's like, you know what? We can't help them. They're dead. They're done. They're not going to get anywhere. Go ahead and let them lose tomorrow, last night. Because Rudy Gobert is a defensive player. He turned on his offense and went crazy with the 2020 game, which I was actually really impressed with. In some ways, that gave me a little more respect for Rudy Gobert because he just eliminated the Lakers and he had a monster game doing it. Anthony Edwards was horrible. He was 0 for 10 for his first 10 free-point shots. Absolutely horrible. Who was going to get him? Well, on the other side, these guys ain't doing jack shit on the other side because Luka is cold and they don't have any. They have old-ass LeBron, and that's it. Lakers ain't got nothing to match them. Hashimura is going to try. But, yeah, enough of a team game and a dominant defensive player is enough for the Timberwolves to close out the Lakers and win that series. Bravo. In some ways, I'm Minnesota, badasses. Good job, Minnesota. We're proud of you guys. Trevor's saying they're already calling for a Lakers rebuild. JJ Redick, he cannot coach. He only played 3 players off the bench, and one player was a player who has not played since January. I mean, you did hire a podcaster that has no coaching experience whatsoever until this year. I mean, I called this last year. Y'all can be all flashy with your sizzle. We got Luka. We got JJ Redick as a coach. This shit don't mean jack shit when these guys are not proven in certain ways. Luka's an awesome player. I think that if Luka was with enough defensive players around him, he could win a championship, but they went in the wrong direction with his career. In some ways, Luka would have been better off staying in Dallas and Anthony Davis getting traded for Kyrie Irving, and Kyrie Irving showing up on the Lakers to reunite with LeBron. That may have made more sense for all teams considered, seriously, because there would have been an added defensive side to Dallas, and hopefully, maybe they could have gone somewhere. But alas, it's all broken. The genie's out of the bottle. You can't put it back in. And it is what it is. And the funny thing is, the Lakers fans and Lakers Nation think that they're just set and they're going to be good forever. No, you know what? I'm going to tell y'all right now, in some ways, sports works in weird ways and energy like that. And getting such gains of a generational talent like this just fall in your lap in such a weird, seedy ass way. I know Logical Raptors fanatic thinks there's nothing weird about this, but he's wrong. The Lakers wanted, the NBA wanted the Lakers to get Luka because it's good for money. It's just good for money. And you can't argue that, Mike, that the NBA would want him on the Lakers because the Lakers are a premier franchise that they want to have star power and interest around. And also the NBA needed a jump start and interest for the season in the middle of the season. So the Luka trade provided that. But the funny thing is, y'all can get this and y'all are not going to do jack shit the whole time Luka's on your team unless Rob Pelinka figures out how to build a team that can win. But he can't. He's a horrible GM, and I can't believe y'all extended him. If I was y'all, you would start with him. Get rid of him and maybe get rid of your coach. That's what I would say is, like, honestly, your coach is a joke, and your GM has been a joke for about 6 years right now. So, man, the Lakers mess, it is what it is. Y'all can go ahead and be a flashy, fun team to watch in the regular season. Y'all ain't going to do jack shit in the postseason for a long time still. Seriously, all the Lakers fans who thought, "Oh, we got Luka, we're gonna win a championship," y'all are crazy. And y'all see what happened last night. And well, there you are. You're there now. Yeah, you're going to Cancun. Now you're going to Cancun. That's right. That's right. Trevor's saying Luka got exposed last night on defense. Yeah, I mean that is a big, huge hole in his game, and if you don't have enough good defensive players around him, you're gonna get beat. Dallas got beat all the time, partly because of this. And the years with Luke on there is because they, having Porzingis around for a little bit, Gafford, these big guys that were around helping Lively, they're more helpful to Luca than what Vanderbilt and Hashimura and shit like that. Like, seriously, what did you expect? I mean, I don't even do trade machines or I do play fantasy, but in some ways, fantasy is totally different. I can see how you should build a roster in the NBA better than Rob Pelinka can, obviously. Because this dude doesn't know how to build a roster that wins, that has pieces that fit, that has role players, that has rebounding and defense. I don't even like none of that shit on that team. Seriously, it's really bad. Tristan's here, y'all. What's up, Tristan Trey, this morning? See what Tristan's saying here. All right, good to see everybody filling it up here. Tristan's saying Charles said you got to have 3 other defensive guys to account for LeBron and Luka's lack of defense. Yeah, this is kind of what I'm saying right now. Is you gotta if you're gonna have LeBron and Luka out there, you're gonna have to have 3 guys that absolutely are top-notch defenders, not just good defenders. They need to be top-notch defenders. Because these guys are not going to pick up the slack, and they're going to need people to help them because they're going to get beat in certain ways and stuff like that. We got to think about our own championship team. We had multiple defensive players of the year on our team, and Marc Gasol and Kawhi Leonard, and we had other guys that were top-notch defenders. If you looked at that Raptors team, Serge Ibaka, Norman Powell, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, we had really good defenders, like 8 deep. And that's a big reason why the Raptors won the championship in 2019 is we had a very good defensive team. Very, very, very good. And it's true. It's still true. Defense wins championships. A lot of jokers around, younger people are saying, oh, defense wins championships. That's bullshit. Oh, no, you scored to win. No, motherfucker, you're not old enough to realize this yet. Defense wins championships. And, the old heads understand this better than the younger generation because they've been saturated with overimportance of offense. But still true. It always has been true. Even when it seemed like it wasn't true, the team that was a better defensive team usually won the championship. It's always been true that. You can have 2 really good offensive teams, but the one that has a better defense is going to win. That's what I'm saying right there. That's how it works. I'm telling you, because you got to shut off the water at some point, right? You got to shut off the water. Reggie's here. Good morning, Smooth Brown Man. Well, the Lakers had no 5s. The Timberwolves did what they did, rescinding the Mark Williams trade. That's an interesting point, Reggie. They got Mark Williams from Charlotte, and then he come over. They traded Dalton Connect, and poor Dalton, he's like over in Charlotte, but then he did get traded. He come back. That's really bad management right there. Like, you never want to have a player, a rookie at that's just showed up on your team, get traded, and they're like, you have to come back. That doesn't cause good vibes. That doesn't cause good vibes. You ain't going to get nowhere near the greatest vibes in the world on the Raptors right now. And that's what they said on the Open Gyms. Scotty Barnes said this is the most camaraderie he's ever had on a team ever in his whole entire basketball career in his life. He's never felt so strongly about his teammates and loyalty and love and camaraderie and connection as he has with his Raptors right now. I mean, in some ways it makes sense. He's living the dream. He's playing for the NBA. He's a franchise face, and his best friend's on the team with him. Of course he's going to have that kind of camaraderie. Darko said in the Open Gym episode yesterday, in 29 years, I've coached basketball, all kinds of levels, all kinds of places. I've never seen chemistry like what the Raptors currently have on their team right now. How do you think the Lakers have with chemistry? When you got LeBron stratify himself above everybody else, maybe you can hang out with Luka now because they're on the same level, but everybody else is below them, and they don't do the shit with the team like the normal players do. Then you got this guy Dalton who got traded halfway through the season, and he's kind of like looking over his shoulder and like, man, I can't trust this team. They're going to trade me, and then I have to come back. I mean, does that foster chemistry? Does that foster good vibes on your team? No, it doesn't. And this league is more important to have this more than ever. You're going to need people like Scotty Barnes that's in the group chat for the team saying, hey, we're going out to dinner. Everybody, let's go. And he brings like 10 of his dudes out. And Scotty ain't eating by himself with his wife and his kids somewhere else in a really bougie place like LeBron is, and the other Lakers are sitting somewhere else. No, Scotty's sitting with his team. He's inviting them and organizing it out himself. You think LeBron organizes shit like that with the Lakers and takes them out like that? Maybe once in a while, but not a lot on the level that Scotty Barnes does. That's what I'm saying. There's different ways to build chemistry. And in some ways, LeBron James, as great as he is, he's been in the way of building chemistry for a long time. And I've always seen this. It's just that before, his overwhelming talent could overpower this detriment that I'm talking about. The stratification of LeBron James over everybody on a team has always hurt on the down low. Trust me, it's hurt on the down low. It's very interesting, man. Very, very interesting. Now, if Mark Williams had showed up, I don't know if that would have been the answer. That they're trying to do patchwork with this center stuff. In some ways, they had an overwhelmingly good center in Anthony Davis, and they were doing different things, but still struggling with him. Still struggling with him. So it's deeper than just having a good center, Reggie. It's deeper than that because they had Davis, and they still had these failures and struggles in the early rounds of the playoffs and the play-in in the last few years. So it's not necessarily totally just getting a center. It's not necessarily, although it would have helped against Rudy last night. That's for sure. MJ saying, good morning, fam, and happy Thursday. Lakers are indeed garbage on defense, but it's been a while. What a glorious week. What a glorious for us anti-Lakers. What a glorious. Or you say, what a glorious day. Next up, I need the Pistons to bring the series to 3-2. All right, let's talk about this. There's game 6 in Detroit. The New York Knicks are coming there to play the Pistons. And, well, the Pistons have new life. Tobias Harris and Dennis Schroeder and those guys saying, yeah, we knew we were going to beat them in New York and we were going to extend this series. They were very confident. They are very, very cocky and confident, and I like it. I like it. You keep going, Pistons, because in some ways the Knicks are on the ropes. They're hurt and they're tired, and they are not as deep and healthy as you guys are. And also, let's do the ref report, because I looked at the refs already. They've got an all-star ref crew for this game tonight in Detroit, guys. Tony Brothers is going to be the crew chief. And I'm going to tell you this right now. There's a special relationship Tony Brothers has with the New York Knicks, and it's not good. No, it's not. In fact, the Knicks have the 3rd worst record out of all the teams with Tony Brothers. I think that Knicks fans hate Tony Brothers. I think that part of the reason why people talk about Tony Brothers being one of the worst refs in the league, which he isn't, he's one of the best, is because Knicks fans hate his ass. Because Tony Brothers has been shitty to the Knicks for a long, long time. 30 years. 30 years, yeah. Well, he's the crew chief for this game tonight in Detroit, and he absolutely favors the Pistons. Oh, yeah. It's not even a close margin. Like I said, the Knicks have one of the worst records under Tony Brothers. Tony Brothers had no love for New York Knicks. And New York Knicks do not like Tony Brothers either. Well, he's your crew chief. He's your crew chief. And not only that, you've got the fixer, the guy who will ref manipulate the hell out of games, is the second ref, Ed Malloy. Ed Malloy and Tony Brothers are the 2 main refs, with Mark Lindsay as the 3rd ref. That's an all-star ref crew right there, man. Those are 3 top crew chiefs right there. Tony Brothers, Ed Malloy, and Mark Lindsay, the family guy, are the referees for this Detroit-New York game tonight, and all 3 of them favor the Detroit Pistons. That's right. It's not even close. Like, Ed Malloy has a way better record with the Detroit Pistons than the Knicks. Tony Brothers, same thing. And Mark Lindsay also. So not only does Detroit have home court, the referees are very favorable for them also. So we should see a game 7. We should. If Scott Foster's sitting on the sideline, he can't extend. Well, Ed Malloy is going to step up and help extend this series. I'm telling you right now, because they want all the drama, all the smoke of a game 7 in Madison Square Garden that they will get after this game. They might as well. It's like if game 5 is going to go to the Pistons and they are not going to get put out by the Knicks in game 5, New York, you're going to get a game 7 because NBA is all about that. All about that. So they're going to make sure that the Pistons win tonight. Watch. And there will be a game 7, Knicks and Pistons in Madison Square Garden coming up. That is my very, very, very educated opinion from looking at the referee crew. Yeah, Tony Brothers. He hates the Knicks, and he is their crew chief tonight. On the other game, we got the Clippers and the Nuggets in their game 6 in L.A. David Guthrie is the crew chief. He favors the Nuggets. Tyler Ford is the referee. He favors the Nuggets slightly. And Curtis Blair is the umpire. He's absolutely 50-50. Literally .500 record for both teams right now. He's the absolute middle of the road for this game. Curtis Blair, former Houston Rocket, will be reffing right from the middle. No bias on either side between the Clippers and the Nuggets. So there's your refs for tonight. Courtney Kirkland, the cyborg, will be monitoring things from Secaucus. Yeah, there's your ref report. Man, it's looking real good for the Pistons tonight. I'm going to say that right now, y'all. It's looking real, real good. Fiercely saying Nico must have released a huge sigh of relief. Lex, you called for it, wishing he would be the new head coach. Yeah, I'm excited about Gord. I think Gord has had really good recent success. So he's on top of the international game and shown that he knows what he's doing and coaching at high level international play, FIBA play. And in some ways, I like that he's more in the FIBA world than in the NBA world. And he's currently coaching a big team, guys, over there. He's coaching Bayern Munich, which is one of the top teams in Germany, and he's been coaching them for a couple of years. So he's very actively in the top levels of the sport, just not in the NBA. He's in the top levels in German league and in FIBA as the German coach in recent years. So I feel like he's a very, very good coach. Man, I'm calling all kinds of stuff. Fiercely, you know that. That's why y'all love watching me. In some ways, the prognostications coming out of Lex's mouth are usually on point. And, well, calling things about the Lakers after the Luka trade, nailed it. Nailed that one. Nailed the Sixers in the last 2 years. As soon as they hired Nick Nurse, I called it. And everything happened exactly how I thought it would in the last 2 years. Even better in the second year than I thought. The dismalness of the Philadelphia 76ers this year was amazing. And I did call it. The receipts are in my archive. People can go back in time and watch me in other places in time, and they will hear me say things before they happen in the future. And then, boom, they happen. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, Nico needs to be fired. They're going down to the mayor's office and saying, can we get a petition to fire the GM of the Dallas Mavericks? He's wronged the people of Dallas. He has. And they should get that petition, and they should fire him, but they won't, because the people in charge of the Mavericks are evil people that are full of shit, and they're awful, and they're stupid too. I didn't realize how important Luka was to the Dallas fans. You dumbasses. Why did you buy this team and you didn't even realize that? Holy crap. You guys are like the exact opposite of Mark Cuban. The new ownership of the Mavs are exact opposite of Mark Cuban, and it's kind of crazy, man. Reggie's saying, I actually really hope for a Pistons win tonight. I think you're going to get it, Reggie. Seriously. They're in Detroit. In some ways, they got screwed over in Detroit in a game the last time. Well, this time they're going to go there, and they're going to try and do something. And, well, I wouldn't be surprised if, like I said, the NBA wants a Game 7 in Madison Square Garden. You listen to what I'm just saying right here. That is it's no telling if New York's going to go that far in the playoffs. They want to milk New York in the playoffs as much as they can. They'll get that Game 7. It's going to be tough for them with going into New York and winning a Game 7. A Game 7 will be tough for the Pistons, but I have a good feeling about them tonight at home. That's right. Smooth saying OG is the enemy now, man. I don't root for that guy either. I love how OG hit that big three at the end of the game, and he's just like, I don't shoot to miss. Everybody's saying that. No, I still love OG, but in some ways, and I still love Precious and DeLon too. Our three Raptors that are on that team, I still have a lot of respect for, but the franchise I do not, and I do want to see them get beat. If you're going to have me choose between Dennis Schroeder and those three guys, I'm going to pick Dennis. I'm picking Dennis right now. No offense, OG Anunoby. In some ways, New York fans get a little too cocky, get out in the streets and get a little too crazy. Y'all won one game. Sometimes that energy messes y'all up, and that's part of the reason why y'all keep losing. It's because you get too excited. It's the same thing that happens to Leafs. Leafs get too excited. Leafs are up 3-0. They're going to sweep Ottawa. What's going on now? Whoa. Ottawa's won 2 games in a row now, and Leafs fans are sweating. Maybe y'all celebrated too early. Maybe y'all got too crazy too early. Maybe you need to simmer down and wait for something really to celebrate instead of celebrating just for one playoff victory. Come on, man. You should be celebrating after you get past the first round, Leafs and Knicks, because y'all, seriously, your track records aren't that good. I get it. Y'all really want to celebrate because you ain't had much time to celebrate in decades and decades and decades. But y'all maybe need to pause on that because that celebration energy, I guess it's going in the air and it's messing y'all up. And in some ways, I want to see the Leafs just finish it. Go ahead, Leafs. Beat Ottawa. Get to the next round. Knicks? Nah, I don't want to see y'all get past Detroit. Let's see Dennis get the next round. That's right. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. The only Raptors alum I'm down with is Pascal. Yeah, I'm cool with Pascal. I'm cool with Fred. I'm cool with Kawhi and Norman. I'm cool with most of them. And if the Knicks weren't playing Detroit right now, I might be cool with them. If they were playing Boston right now, oh yeah, I'd be cool with the Knicks. It's all the lesser of two evils sometimes. And in my hierarchy, Boston Celtics are the worst enemy in some ways because they're the top Atlantic team, the champions, and they're the biggest threat. And in some ways, I really don't want the Celtics to repeat. Sixers, well, they're dead in the water. That would be number 2 that I would really be against. And the Knicks are probably third. Division rivalries do matter to me. And those 3 teams are teams that I do not want to see success for. Right there. That's right. Those are the only ones. Kaloy's here. Good morning, Kaloy. Morning, Lex and Raptor Freak family. The lines are open. If anybody wants to give me a call today, that you are more than welcome to call me on the show. Monique is here. Superfan Mo, good morning to you. Y'all, we're going to celebrate Monique's birthday on June the 7th at the NBA restaurant. It's a Saturday. We'll be there in the afternoon. If you guys want to come down for Monique's birthday, friends and family will be there. And Raptor Freak family hopefully will be there also, guys. So please come down there with me and let's help support and celebrate Monique's awesome birthday. Once again, Raptor Freak get together at NBA restaurant June the 7th. January 7th. Why am I saying January? June the 7th. It's the first Saturday of the month. So come on down there and let's get together and celebrate Superfan. That's right. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Season finale, open gym, top notch. I agree, Mo. I thought that they were done with the season because they did the championship and it was just a nice cutoff. But no, they rolled the credits on this one. They did a really nice job too. And I love how they rolled it out with all the different names and the past Raptors that they were showing. And in some ways, this was a really good cap on the season for Open Gym. Put a nice cap on top of it with the really, really, really executed the exact thing I needed them to do last year. I think I put that out there around June or July last year when we realized it was going to be the 30th anniversary of the Raptors season, that this is a season to capitalize on cultivating culture and history and strengthening alumni ties and getting more of the alumni visible in front of the current fan base to know and learn the history of the Raptors. And Open Gym was such a integral part of teaching that lesson. Not you, Raptors Delight, aka the dark side of the Raptors. Fuck you guys. The Open Gym guys. Y'all did a fantastic job this year. You absolutely got the assignment right, and you got A+. Because the way you capped it off with this last episode, you brought the future with the young guys of Shed and Jacoby and Scotty and Grady and everybody, and you intertwined it with the past of Damon Stoudemire, looking at that old newspaper, thinking about 30 years, showing all the stuff from before, even showing Darko at the beginning of the year, doing the thing about the 30th season, said this is 30 years. And there's a lot of good players that have come through Toronto, Hall of Famers, and we want to be a part of that legacy. And you need to learn about this legacy. And Scotty Scotty learned so much about Raptors history this year, I'm sure. These guys watch Open Gym. They saw all the episodes, the build to the championship. They saw the past Raptors like Antonio Davis and Doug Christie and TJ Ford. This stuff it's so important. This is some of the stuff that the Raptors have lacked for a long, long time. No respect, no culture, no history. Well, we got it now, 30 years in. And Open Gym and the Raptors and MLSC did a fantastic job this year ensconcing it and putting it out there and just doing just a really, really good job of displaying it and getting it real and tangible around us. In some ways, don't y'all feel more proud to be a Toronto Raptors fan at this point than you did maybe like a year or two ago? Because in some ways, we really showed our proud and rich history of great, great, great people that have come through our organization over the last 30 years. And Open Gym was the storyteller and the broadcaster and the presenter of what I'm talking about right here. And they did it so masterfully. Such great storytelling and tying it all so well together. In fact, I was so proud of you guys. Open Gym, you guys are on another level. Sportsnet, Raptors Delight, y'all suck, man. Y'all are using clips from Game of Thrones and Game of Zones and other bullshit, fucking talking heads on ESPN and your clips. Meanwhile, the masterful editors at Open Gym are taking the little dance that Jacoby and Garrett do, the little step dance, and they are morphing an edit where they took one shot of it into another shot of it in different clothes. Masterful editing. I saw that. I catch what y'all are doing on that channel because you guys are auteurs. You guys are directors of photography. You guys aren't, you guys are, it's not even like you guys are documentarians. You guys are like full length, movie length, documentarian, March of the Penguins motherfuckers. Seriously, you guys are that good. This isn't like I'm making a documentary for Discovery ID bullshit. No, this isn't a reenactment on unsolved mysteries. No, this is cinematography at its finest with the best cuts and edits and shots and decisions as far as I'm going to shoot this through this thing to show this, and we're going to catch this audio. And it's just amazing. You know, in some ways, I just watched Survivor from last night, and they made this bird make a noise like a yawn. I was like, whoa, but no, it was a Survivor. Survivor has really good editors. They've been doing this show for almost 50 seasons, and they've really had a lot of time to practice. Open Gym is like that. They are top notch of their field, best editing, directors of photography, decisions for shooting and telling the story, top notch, best ever, ever. Any kind of sports documentary stuff, you know, whether it's the NFL films of the bullshit that they used to show, whether it's any other teams making the same kind of shit that we're doing with Open Gym, nothing is up to the level that Open Gym is. None of it is top notch, A++, number one best documentary series of a sports team ever in the history of any sports. And I'm biased, sure, as a Raptor, but I'm telling you right now, I'm talking about the technicalness of what they do. I'm talking about what they're doing on there artistically in the whole film world. You could have somebody come from somewhere else, has nothing to do with basketball, doesn't know damn thing about the Raptors, and they watch an Open Gym episode and they'd be like, wow, that was beautifully cut. That was beautifully shot. Holy crap, look at the way that they edited that. You don't have to be a basketball fan to watch Open Gym and see the excellence of what they do in their technicalness. I'm telling you right now, they are amazing, Monique. I'm so proud of Open Gym. And John forever. That's right. John Butler forever. That's right, Monique. That's right. Forever. And congratulations to Gordon Hebert. That's right. Mo's ready for the German coach to come and coach us now. That's right. That's right. Canadian coaching the Canadian team. That's right. There you go. G's saying that Fred had a great game. Good luck, Rockets. Yeah. Well, we know this. Listen, Freddie's up against the wall. His team is down 3-1. Freddie's not going to have a shit game. He's going to put it all on the line and come out there and play his ass off because that's what he does. And he did. He came out there and bombed and carried the Rockets and helped them get to a big, huge victory over the Golden State Warriors last night. And I'm proud of Van Vliet, man. He really was the guy who drove this thing, man. In some ways, it's like Dylan Brooks was helping chip in here and there. Thompson was helping too. You know, just a really good job by Fred being a leader and helping them beat the Warriors. Once again, the Warriors had some shooting trouble, and they showed a lack of depth on their team. Jimmy Butler couldn't do nothing. In some ways, he's probably still a little hurt, and he's not totally effective. And, well, Steph wasn't exactly Steph either. Fred was Fred, though, and Fred helped lead his team to extend the series longer. They are not done. You're going to go to a game 6, Golden State and Houston, and I'm proud of Van Vliet for this. Seriously, Freddie is awesome, man. You know, Rockets fans have probably got the similar kind of feelings about Fred Van Vliet as Raptors fans do. In fact, we're watching Fred highlights with Scotty on Twitch the other night, and Scotty's saying nice things about Fred. Meanwhile, in the chat, people are saying stupid shit like, I'm so glad Fred's not on our team anymore, chucking shots and all this bullshit. All this Fred hate is so dumb, and it pisses me off. Fred Van Vliet is an amazing story as an undrafted player to get to the levels and the things he's done in this league. In some ways, some people just don't like him because they're haters, because they see somebody who did something that they wish they had done. Because honestly, Fred isn't every man. Fred is just like anybody. In some ways, he is different because he just made himself different, but he's not different than most people. Let's just put it that way. And in some ways, they recognize that. And they're like, why this fucking guy about anybody? Fred? Seriously, who the fuck is he? Who does he think he is? What? He's Fred Van Vliet, and he does what he does, and you didn't. So stop hating is what I would say to people. Listen, Freddie may have flaws in his game. Freddie may be a small guy. Freddie may take a lot of shots and miss, but he has the balls to shoot those shots and take the responsibility for making them or missing them. And he was the same way when he was on the Raptors. He's the same way on the Rockets. Rockets fans, you guys may have a love-hate relationship with Fred sometimes. Sometimes he may let you down, but sometimes he really pick you up. And that's usually when it really matters, like a game last night. And that's what I'll say about Fred Van Vliet right there. That's my guy. I love you, Fred. and you keep on keeping on. That's right. Dylan Brooks, they may hate you, but you winning. So let's go, Dylan. That's right. Fred had a game. Good luck, Rockets. Yeah, we're rooting for the Rockets. Smooth is historically a Rockets fan. And man, I like the Rockets. I really do. I like Steven Adams. I like Dylan Brooks. And the Thompson twins, they annoy me, but I'm rooting for both their teams. They're very physical, talented players, super, super athletic, and they are really stars. Seriously. Scotty was talking about the Thompsons on Wednesday. He's saying the Thompson twins are Florida boys like he is. And that's why he kind of likes them. He really was marveling at how athletic Thompsons are. Both of them. Very, very athletic players. Fiercely saying, low-key, Giannis shaded Hallie's dad in a classy way. I loved it. He came out the better person. Players are human. They deserve respect as much as any of us. No, I think that Giannis is amazing. Seriously, he was so classy in this whole thing now that I know all the truth about it. I really didn't see the whole thing, and I was off base yesterday. And honestly, I have even more respect for Giannis because in some ways, he took a really ugly situation. He taught a lesson to the world. Seriously. In some ways, John Halliburton, you gave a good, bad example as a role model. And everybody can point to you, fathers and mothers, and tell their children, it's like, don't be like him. Don't be like that guy. Seriously. And in some ways, Giannis showed a good example of how to carry yourself in that situation. I like that, man. I like that a lot, man. I like that a lot. That's right. Kareem is here. And y'all, we got to do something real quick right now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Kareem Thomas. Happy birthday to you. That's right. It's the full ass butt dialer's birthday today, y'all. Our dunk champion. Happy birthday, Kareem. I hope you're having a great May Day. May Day, May Day. It's Kareem's birthday. Yes, May Day is historically a day of protest and solidarity for workers and unions. And, well, they're out there in the street in the United States right now protesting and resisting the fucked upness of Donald Trump and his regime and his dictatorship and oligarchy. And, well, happy May Day to everybody. Happy birthday to Kareem Thomas also, guys. Also, it is a birthday for somebody else today. It is Amir Johnson's birthday, guys, today. Also, we'll give a big birthday wish to Amir Johnson, a real one for Toronto, a man that played for the Raptors and put the Raptors emblem in his head. And he even stuck around in the offseason and hung around and went to Canada's Wonderland a lot and hung out with the fans a lot. Amir Johnson, you're a real one. We love you. We have not forgotten about you. Raptors Freak Nation. Raptors Freaks love you. You are part of the culture. You're part of the history. And we love you, Amir. Always going to be a real one for us. And Kareem, we love you too, my guys. So happy birthday to Amir and Kareem on this great May Day right now. It's May Day, a.k.a. my birthday. I'm 41 and another year closer to retirement. Okay, so you're in your Olynyk year. All right, Kelly Olynyk year. That may mean you have to have a baby again this year. I don't know if that's right. But either way, happy Kelly year. You're in your Kelly Olynyk year. There you go. There's nothing wrong with that. Kelly Olynyk, that's kind of mean you're getting older. Let's just put it that way, Kareem. You're in your Olynyk year. Trevor's saying Scotty was amazing that he took Jacoby out. Scotty is really putting on blast right now Balenciaga. Right? He really loves that brand. Like he posted something on Instagram yesterday about common denominator. And it basically was that brand was on his body in every single sense. He put on that pink hoodie with that brand on his stream the other night. And somebody started talking about that brand and saying, because I know they're a little bit like tied into some weird shit, right? Balenciaga. Isn't there a little bit of like controversy with them? As far as like maybe Diddy shit or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the full story. I'm not that hip. I'm old. But I'm just saying somebody was giving him crap about wearing that gear. And Scotty just kind of told the dude, he's like, you're being a hater. All right. Stop hating is what he told this person. Somebody put a little comment in his Twitch stream saying, well, why are you wearing all that Balenciaga stuff all the time? And he's like, stop being a hater. You're just being hating. You're hating is what he said to him. So yeah, they love the clothes. Jacoby loves the clothes, and honestly, those guys do wear good stuff when they're coming in. They do. Jacoby's got a sense of style. I'm going to say this. I've noticed his style since he came to the Raptors in the last year, and he has a different kind of way that he presents himself. It's going to be really interesting to see how Jacoby is with no hair next year. Like this is going to be. It's very drastic, the haircut that he did in the last week. It's very, very drastic. The dreads are all completely gone. He's cut it very short and close. And we'll see how much it grows over the summer. But in some ways, Jacoby's going to be looking very different at Summer League, guys. And I'm here for it. Rookie Jacoby can have his era with the hair up like this and on the sides of the headband. But Jacoby's shaved his hair off. He ain't got no hair no more right now. And in some ways, we'll have to see what sophomore Jacoby looks like with the smoother look. They were asking Scotty in the Twitch, will you get your dreads back? And he said, no, I'm not going to do dreads again. He's like, oh, it's just too much work, is what he said. And then some people were telling him, you should shave your head like Jacoby then. I think Scotty needs some hair. Seriously, I think he needs some hair. That's right. G saying, I'm down with the Pacers and the Rockets. Don't want Knicks to win either. Sorry, OG. Yeah, in some ways, it's too much bragging rights. It's too close. In some ways, Knicks fans are obnoxious. In some ways, we just do not want to feed that fire. In some ways, it's a similar thing with the Leafs, even though we do love the Leafs Nation and Toronto because we're the Raptors and we share a building and we're the same city and stuff like that. But also, we know Leafs fans are going to get obnoxious and a little bit too crazy in certain ways that are going to be annoying. So it's a balance. It's kind of like, yeah, Leafs, I kind of want success for you guys, but I kind of don't because I know you guys are going to be really, really annoying. And in some ways, I don't like the whole Leafs versus Raptors rivalry that can happen in this city. And in some ways, the Raptors have just been the top dog in some ways for winning and success over the Leafs in the last 10 years. And in some ways, I don't want the Leafs to have more bragging rights because I know that they're going to talk trash and act like they're the kings of the sports world in Toronto again. And I don't like that. I feel like Raptors fans do it in a more modest, humble way, and we're not just out in people's faces and stuff like that. Leafs fans can be real jerks. Let's just put it that way. They can be real jerks. And in some ways, I'm measuring my want for the Leafs to do well with kind of like my dread of this phenomena kind of thing. And the Knicks are the same way. And it's even worse. And I have no allegiance to New York. So in some ways, I was like, I really don't want them to win. I really, really don't. Smooth saying happy birthday to Kareem. That's right. Let's give Dunk Champion a dunk just for his birthday. Why not? This is a birthday gift to you, Kareem. I'm going to give you a double dunk. So we're going to put you at 69 on the dunk chart. You just got 2 dunks going from 63 to 69, my guy. 3-point dunks. That's right. They're all 3-point shots. You know why they're all 3-point? Because y'all all launch from the 3-point line when you make these dunks. You're all jumping from the 3-point line. That's why they all count for 3. Yeah, Seymour's wishing Kareem many more birthdays. I love that. I love that so much. Seymour, you're awesome. Sheriff, you're awesome. Happy birthday. Butt dial from G. Awesome. Awesome. I love to see it. There you go. There's Darko's face. Fiercey's got him on blast. Most saying, well done, Lindsay. Well spoken, Chris. Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up again because I do want to cover this very extensively. My producer, Monique Lawrence, giving me the cue card. Fantastic work, Monique. This is awesome. Lindsay Dunn. All right, first of all, Lindsay Dunn, you are becoming amazing content maker for the Raptors. I know that you're doing all the sports. You do the Leafs and the Blue Jays too. But the work you did for 905 this year on the sideline was exemplary. And also, this interview you did with Chris was very, very much the answers that Raptors fans needed, and you did it. You did a fantastic job. Not to mention the carpool karaoke with Jacoby and Jamal just in the last month or so was just badass. Lindsay Dunn, you're getting a Share the Love Club this weekend. That's right. We're going to do Share the Love for Lindsay Dunn on Saturday because she managed to answer the questions of the mystery of Chris Boucher. We got the answer straight from Chris's mouth. In the little 5-minute interview that Lindsay did with him, she covered so much in 5 minutes and answered so many questions. So many questions. And, well, Chris cleared the air, and he said all the right things, as somebody said in the Discord server. He did say all the right things. She asked him about being a father and how that helps. And, like, he loves being a father. He really does. He really loves being a father. She asked him about being nominated for the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar award. And he is really proud of that. And he gave a lot of credit to his team for the Slim Duck Foundation and the work that they've been doing to make sure that the events go really well and all that kind of stuff. And that's part of the reason why he got the nomination. Then she brought up him not playing. Yeah. How did that feel about not playing? Well, he was very illuminating with this. It's like, you've obviously heard all the fans' frustrations and questions about you not playing. How are you feeling? He's like, he basically said this. Yeah, they had frustrations, but I didn't. He really wasn't frustrated. He understood what exactly was going on. I mean, he may have had a little bit of frustration on the down low, but he wasn't as frustrated as us. Let's just put it that way. He made it very clear. He knew exactly what was going on. This is how he described it, basically. I transitioned to a veteran this year. That's a key thing to listen. And this is what Darko spelled it out to him. It's like Garrett Temple. It's the same thing. In some ways, to have a long NBA life in your career, you need to transition to different roles in different stages of your career. And this year, Chris has transitioned to being an end of the bench vet, case of emergency kind of player. Now, the argument that Chris adds to winning is a big part of it too. Part of the reason why Chris didn't play this year is because they were trying to tank to a degree. And Chris playing does add up to helping us win more. And that's part of the reason why they played Jakob every other game too, because those guys add up to winning more. That's part of the reason why they sat Jamal Shed in the fourth quarter, because he adds up to winning in the fourth quarter. Well, in some ways, Chris said this, and this was very interesting. He said, I had to transition to being a vet and not playing as much. And I understand that. In some ways, we had a lot of young players and they were learning and they needed the time out on the court more than me. And I was also very enjoying, happy, and seeing the young guys come up and get better and better. I was rooting for them and I was all about it. And I understood exactly what was going on. There was no problem with what was happening with Chris. The fans had way more problem with it than he did. He also said this. He says, next year, if I'm here again, which I hope to be, he did say that. He said, next year, if I'm here again, and I hope to be, I expect to play way more next year. And you know why? Because we're going to be a playoff team and we're going to be playing to win. And Chris is going to be needed for that in his ways of what he does. So I really do feel like we're going to figure out a way to keep him here in Toronto, because he's showing all the signs that he's committed and he loves this team and he does want to be on this team and he doesn't mind being a vet on this team like Garrett Temple is. That the Raptors fans had all the anxiety, the frustration for him that he did not have himself. He really didn't. In some ways, he understood. He's clued in. There was never any point where he's disgruntled or upset with Darko. There was never any point where he was like sulking. No, he was happy. He was just doing his thing. He sits at the end of the bench normally. It's not like that's something to read into and say, oh, he must be mad. He sits at the end of the bench. No, that's always where he sat. And that's not a big deal. And as he said in the interview, I still talk to the fans. I'm friendly and I love seeing the fans and I want to be a role model and show everything. He's doing it right. He was being a pro. He's being a vet. And he's doing what the coach wanted him to do. And the front office by proxy. Bobby and Masai said, you don't play Chris as much because we know he's going to help us win. And we, you know what, we don't need to see him anyway. We got to see these other guys. And sure, I think it did have something to do with 50 games of contract. And they're not saying that out loud. But once again, guys, the angst that we all had over Chris and what was happening with him was not necessary because Chris did not have it himself. He knew the drill. He understood it. In some ways, it's annoying. Some people will say, well, you only live once. You only have a certain amount of time in your NBA. Why waste it on the bench sitting there watching when you could be playing? And some of y'all have said, why wouldn't you not trade him? If you're going to just make him sit on the bench, let him free and let him play his career. You know, he's young still. Let him play while he can. I get all those arguments. Well, maybe Chris is weighing it all out in his head. He's like, you know, even though I'm not playing right now, I like what we're building in Toronto. I really like the team. I'm really good friends with everybody. I really enjoy being here. In some ways, it's like I don't mind making the sacrifice because I know it's what's best for the team. And in some ways, I've accomplished these things in my life and stuff like that. So, you know, maybe his priority list isn't the same as the average Raptors fan as far as what he cares about right now. You know, I love that he did this interview. And thank you, Lindsay, for clearing up the air, because in some ways they answered a lot of these questions without Hustle Play Podcast and Mike Roach around for Chris to exude what he's feeling. We hadn't been knowing. Screw you, Yahoo, for taking that away, by the way. But yeah, in some ways, he let it all be illuminated yesterday. Thank you, Lindsay Dunn, for giving the forum to do that. You're getting a share of the love club for helping us with this controversy and confusion, all put to rest. Chris Boucher, thank you for setting the record straight from your own lips, from your own mouth. Stop listening to other people's conjecture and hearsay. Go ahead and get it from the horse's mouth. Chris Boucher will tell you himself. There you go. There you go. Very, very good job, Lindsay Dunn. Share the Love Club, Lindsay Dunn, this Saturday, y'all. I hope you'll be here for it. That's right. That's right. Most saying team chemistry is everything. As I said, everyone is so eager for next season. Yeah, that open gym really illuminated that, isn't it? You know, these guys are ready to get back to work right away. right away. No off season. These guys want to keep working and playing, and the camaraderie. And in some ways, this is the crazy thing. They could go the whole season around each other almost all the time and get sick of each other. No, that's not how it is. These guys don't want to say goodbye. These guys want to continue to hang out during the off season. You think they get sick of each other traveling around for the whole most of the year. But no, even in the off season, often players need to have breaks from their teammates, for the off season. But no, Scotty's out there with Jonathan. I'm sure these guys are getting together already in different weird places and different things and playing and working out together already. Strength training, doing whatever. You see the images of IQ and RJ working out together on these guys are around each other talking and working out together in the off season and not taking breaks from each other and saying, I can't be around this guy. I'm sick of him. I've been on the bus and the plane with him all year. I just can't be around him. It's not like that. These guys have chemistry. They love being around each other. And in some ways, Scotty didn't want this season to end because he didn't want to say bye to his teammates. I'm going to say that right now. That's true. That's true. What I just said. He didn't want to say goodbye to his teammates. RJ was awesome in this episode. He really gets it, man. He really, really gets it. RJ in some ways is in a weird position because Scotty is the focal point, and RJ in some ways on other teams would be the focal point, but he doesn't care. In some ways, he's going to be that thankful person, that grateful person on the side. And even though, in some ways it's going to benefit him in the long run too. Because, man, RJ, I'm just so impressed with you, man. You really are a mature young man that really understands yourself and what you need to do, and you just got a good head on your shoulders. I give a lot of credit to your parents. And RJ Barrett, you just keep on being RJ Barrett, man. Yeah, I like how the Raptors organized that episode, and it's really just well done, that open gym, man. Just so good, man. And it's inspiring. It's inspiring. As much as you watching it, they're as excited about next season. That episode makes you excited about next season, doesn't it? Doesn't it? It makes you want to jump right to October and preseason. Let's go. Because I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. I want to see these guys play as much as they want to get out there and get back to play. The fans want to see it too. And Brandon Ingram, yeah, you get that chemistry up this summer. You learn your teammates. You play a lot, and you get there. Brandon having the ankle problem this year. Hopefully things will fix up, and they'll be all right. And he'll be showing up and being healthy for the majority of next season. That's what we really want, is these guys to be healthy next year. That's right. Seymour saying Dyson Daniels got the most improved player. Well deserved. And Cassell getting Rookie of the Year was a no-brainer. Castle, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised about either one of them. I mean, I guess the most improved player could have gone a couple different ways. I mean, I thought Cade could actually won it. Seriously. He was one of the finalists. And in some ways, but I still feel like that award's so stupid in some ways. Like, it's really dumb. How do you gauge it? And like, they've given the most improved award to John Morant or at one point, right? Or something like that. They gave it to some people. I'm just like, why do you give it to this guy? Like, this doesn't make any sense. I totally agree with the Pascal Most Improved Player Award when he got it. Totally agree with that, but it's weird. In some ways, I get it. You know what? I think Dyson Daniels should have won Defensive Player of the Year. And maybe Kate Cunningham should have been Most Improved. That's what I think should have happened exactly there. Castle did win the Rookie of the Year. It's 2 years in a row that the Spurs have won the Rookie of the Year, with Wembanyama last year and Stephon Castle this year. That's cool, man. And they had a nice picture posted yesterday on Spurs Places of the 4 Rookie of the Years in the Spurs franchise history. And that's, of course, Robinson, Duncan, Wembanyama, and Castle. I put a graphic up in the Discord yesterday of all the Rookie of the Years in the modern era in the NBA and which teams got them. And the Raptors hold pretty good with 3 Roys, man. Most teams have like 1 or 2. So having 3 Roys in the last 30 years is a big deal with the Raptors. Damon Stoudemire, Vince Carter, Scotty Barnes. The Lakers do not have a single Rookie of the Year. No, not in the modern era. You would think that the Lakers have a Rookie of the Year at some point. You would just think, wow, the Lakers must have won the Rookie of the Year at some point. Magic, somebody, Kobe. No, there's not a single Rookie of the Year in the Lakers history since, since maybe Minneapolis. It's true. It's true. You can go look it up. Lakers have not won a Rookie of the Year. Raptors have 3. Spurs have 4. Spurs have the most. No other team has more than 4. The Spurs have the most. So we have 3, and that's better than most teams in this league. Some teams only have 2, and they were like in the 70s. Shit like that, man. It's crazy. Yeah, Fiercely saying that yep, I love OG and even have his jersey, but I hate the Knicks more. I'm okay with Hart, but can't stand Cat, Payne, Bridges, and the clutch flopper Brunson, always on cue with his antics. Yeah, I'm with you on most of that list. The only one that I kind of like out of that list is McHale, but in some ways, because he's on the Knicks, I don't like him anymore. Cat, I can't stand him. Campaign's annoying. Yeah, I'm with you on this. I'm with you on all this. Josh Hart, I don't like either. I don't like any of the Villanova guys on that team. I don't. I love Kyle Lowry. I love Alvin Williams. There are Villanova people I like, but not Knicks Villanova people. No, of course, Precious, DeLon, and OG. Those are my guys. I'm always going to love DeLon Wright. I'm always going to love Precious. I know different people in Raptors Nation have different opinions about Precious Achua, but I like Precious. I like Precious. I think that that's a big place where Tom Thibodeau's fucking up is he's not playing Precious right now. Like, I don't understand that. You don't trust Precious to this point. Like, seriously, oh my gosh, you can't trust Precious. You can't play Precious right now. I think that's a big mistake. He could have been that depth that could have helped them in certain ways. Well, New York, you're gonna get what you get. Watch, because you played a short bench. You're gonna get what you get. That's right. Fiercely saying not wishing any harm, but he should watch it for whiplashes. You mean Jalen Brunson the way he flops around? Yeah, I got you, y'all. Today I'm doing straight goods on Canadian goods. It's a little different today. You know, it's the first day of May. And well, this is the time of year to start putting seeds in the ground. In fact, I planted a bunch of seeds in my raised bed yesterday. I planted some lettuce and kale and some spinach. And I've got some carrots I want to put in the ground too. Now, you know, you can buy Canadian when you buy anything as much as possible. And in some ways, you want to try and avoid buying American, right? So the thing to do is to try and buy your seeds from a Canadian company. And I've got two companies that I'll go with today that I'll recommend since it's gardening season and people are going to be looking to buy seeds. Ontario Seed Company is exactly from Ontario. In fact, it's based out of Toronto. I highly recommend buying from Ontario Seed Company. That's a great company to buy from. And then out in the west side of Canada and even across the country, you can get these seeds across country, is West Coast Seeds. Those two seed companies are fantastic Canadian companies that sell seeds that are acclimatized to our climate here in Canada. So you're guaranteed to get good, healthy stuff growing in our climate up here. So yeah, I cannot recommend more Ontario Seed Company and West Coast Seeds as Canadian seed companies to buy Canadian seeds from when you're growing in your garden this season. So yeah, Ontario Seed Company and West Coast Seeds. That's my straight goods on the Canadian goods today. Talking about gardening, y'all. And you can think about buying Canadian on everything. You go and buy anything these days, go and look and see where it comes from. And if it says USA on it, it's a no-go, bro. No go, bro. Just put it back and find the thing, even if it is a different thing than you wanted, even if it's a little more expensive. Dude, I'm telling you, this is the way we win this tariff war is we buy Canadian or other countries that are not the United States. I've heard something yesterday that because of the stupid shit that Trump is doing, that China or Japan is deciding to send their cars directly to us to manufacture instead of putting them in the United States and then bringing them over. They're cutting the United States out of the process. So certain car company that's in Japan, I think it's Mitsubishi, is not going to send vehicles that they normally would have a middleman of putting them together in the United States to Canada. No, they're going to send them straight from Japan to Canada from now on, with cutting the US out of the whole picture. So this stuff is happening. And in some ways you fuck around, you find out, Donald Trump. You know, your old friends, the old countries that you were supposed to be allies with still to this day, instead you want to cozy up to Vladimir Putin and Russia and El Salvador and their prison colony down there. Well, you're going to turn your back on Canada, Mexico, the UK, Japan, and the rest of Europe. Well, we're going to band together and we're going to start working outside of you guys. And y'all will feel this more and more. And the tariffs and the trade war will go very badly for the United States. And all the economy stuff that's going on down there is going to get worse and worse. People that think that he's going to pull this out like a plane and pull it up before it's like totally a disaster, you're crazy. This man has no track record of running businesses successfully in his life. He ran a casino out of business. A casino is a foolproof business that doesn't lose. And he managed to run it into the ground. So anybody out there, and there's one person here in particular I'm talking to, that thinks that Donald Trump is going to fix things through what he's doing right now economically in the United States, you're fucking crazy. Because the track record with him is failure in everything he's ever done business wise. And well, he's going to epically fail with the US economy as the president of the United States. And you just add it to his failures on his list of failures: Trump University, Trump Steaks, Trump Casino. It's all failure. There's never been, he's had all these different enterprises that honestly, casino is something that is foolproof to not lose money. But he managed to do that. So I don't get why anybody thinks with his track record and who he is that what he's doing right now is going to be successful eventually economically. You're crazy and you're stupid for standing up for him, is what I would say right now, because he's running this whole world in the ground right now. And you may think the media is against him, but there's forces out there trying to train you to think that, make him a victim. Oh, the media is so unfair to him. That's bullshit. That is absolute horse crap and bullshit. And that line of thinking is the line to become a bootlicker. And that's what I'll say on that right there. That's right. You become a bootlicker when you start standing up for Donald Trump, is what I'll say right now. You're any kind of way you stand up for Donald Trump, you're a bootlicker, because he doesn't need standing up. He's a dictator. He's an emperor with no clothes, and he's going to find out he's got no clothes soon when nobody actually really fucking follows his dogma and his dictatorial shit. To be a dictator, people have to follow you. Well, we all think he's a joke and we laugh at him, and he's just like a big clown. We don't take him seriously. He has no power. He has no power at that point. That's what I'm going to say right there. And anybody who loves Trump and is getting mad at me for saying this shit, I don't want you here. So get the fuck out. How about that? That's right. That's right. Here we go. Here we go. All right, let's see. Seymour saying, Trevor mailing more than Temu and Amazon. I know this man. I don't get it, man. It's not like the post office is slow. It's expensive to send stuff. Trevor's just biting at the chomp to send me trophies and trivia books. I love it, though. I'm not complaining. Trevor has been an amazing support to this channel, unwavering support. And I appreciate him so much. I love the man. We'll see what these books are like, man. I'm going to be doing trivia from the books. I don't have to do a trivia for a week or two or something, because I might just use the books and cheat off of them. It'd be kind of like when I did the Nuggy the Ruggy world travel tour cards that he gave me, those trivia cards. Hey, if I can take a week off from doing the trivia and not have to write it up just because it's already written up in a book, just nobody try and go buy these books that Trevor bought, because I don't need y'all getting the answer key. Because he said, I still stand on Gobert being trash, but he did step up yesterday. Hey, as long as it took care of business, bye-bye Lakers. Yeah, I agree with you. I still think that Rudy Gobert's flaky. He's a goof. And in some ways, like, I don't trust him, but wow, he showed up and had a monster game and a very crucial game to eliminate the Lakers last night. I got to respect that. I'll give him some respect for that. Sometimes Rudy Gobert, it does line up, and he does really show that he is a class level of defensive player. And wow, the offense came last night too. I mean, he should be feasting. Look at who he's playing against across the way. He should have been doing this the whole series. Well, he made sure he did at the end of the series, and the Minnesota Timberwolves move on to the next round. So yeah, you know what? I'm with you, Fiercey, exactly on your stance on this. That's right. Seymour saying, who choked harder, Onyx or Vince Carter? I don't know. I mean, you're talking about Vince with the shot on graduation day. Man, that's tough, man. You know, I want to be nice to Vince now. It really has become full circle with him, and he really is ensconced with us now. I love you, Vince. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry you were a villain to us for 20 years. In some ways, I'm sorry for being an anti-Vince Carter fan in the Raptors world. I'm okay with you now. We've healed this. This is so incredible, honestly, because you guys can go back to me last summer talking about how I don't want to retire his jersey, how I don't want to have anything to do with him, but we healed this shit. And Vincent Lamar Carter, dude, I love you, man. I loved you when you played for us. I loved you when you were in the Raptors jersey. I was there. I was a really big part of it. In some ways, I was in Club 15, man. But it hurt. It hurt from 2004 until this year. And now we've got this all buried and done after 20 years of acrimony between us and Vince Carter. This may be one of the biggest accomplishments of the 30-year culture, queuing culture, more culture for our team. This is the biggest one right here that I can forgive Vince Carter as a diehard, true number one kind of like Raptors number one in my heart kind of fan. You know, in some ways that is the biggest gift that I got this year, is that I could put to peace my problems with Vince Carter, because he's a real one with us now. He came and he called games with Matt Devlin and Alvin Williams. He came and he had one of the most glorious jersey number retirements ever in the history of the NBA. A banner that's top notch and above reproach of any banner ever put up in a rafters, any NBA arena. That's the most beautiful, amazing one I've ever seen. We saw an amazing court with his likeness and the logo in the middle. And Vince came correct over and over again. He couldn't be here for his Vince Carter game because he was at the All-Star weekend already, but he circled back and came back immediately. And this is the thing. This was the very key point that did it, Vince. When you made that message saying you were sorry that you couldn't be there for the night that we did the Dunkiversary, that was where it hit me in the heart and said, you know what? He just said that he's sorry to us. That's all I've ever wanted. And even if it wasn't being sorry for what happened in 2004 and the way that all went down with Rob Babcock and the New Jersey Nets and that bullshit, you said you're sorry to us for not being at the Dunkiversary night. That cleared everything. And that made me realize Vince can say he's sorry. And he's humble enough to do this. Because for a long time, I thought that you were just so defiantly at ops with us that you would never, ever brandish that peace dove to us. You know, that in some ways it was just too bitter. In some ways, it's like the animosity, the things that happened with your mom, the things that happened with you, and the things that Raptors fans said, and the booing and the way we came at you. You know, we were hurt. You were hurt. And we're now all together and not hurt anymore. That's a beautiful, beautiful gift for this season. Thank you, Masai. Thank you, Larry Tannenbaum. Thank you, MLSC. Thank you, Vince, for coming back and showing that you do care about being a Raptor and being a part of our history and being a part of our culture. Because you're a huge, huge part of it. And it wasn't right that things weren't right with us. And now they are. And now you can do commercials in Canada and we'll love you. You can do more games with Alvin and Matt on Sportsnet. And we will love hearing your technical wisdom about the game of the NBA. And just your insight, like, is so top notch. You really are one of the best in the announce booth as far as a color guy. You really, really are. And I'm totally forgiving you, man. I'm cool with you, man. I love you. You are okay. I'm okay with you, man. I'm not an anti-Vince Raptors fan anymore. I was for 20 years. For 20 freaking years. I'm putting that down. Thank you. Thank you so much. And even in this episode in Open Gym, we see it come full circle with Vince. Vince is a part of this episode too. You know, showing him in the locker room, putting the chain around Grady's neck that night. You know, there is seeing him embrace Scotty and hug him. And now I don't totally mistrust Vince to talk to Scotty in a bad way. That he'd be like, you know, you might have to do what I did, Scotty. And it's like, I don't think Vince is going to say that to him at this point. Because in some ways, he sees how much Scotty loves Toronto. And in some ways, if Vince could have had it like Scotty's had it with Toronto, he probably would have if that could have happened. But we had MLSC run by Richard Petty and his fucking hockey bullshit. And he didn't cultivate an environment that was conducive to keep Vince Carter in the Raptors jersey. In fact, I blame MLSC more than anybody with the mess that Vince Carter became by the time he left. Whether it's Richard Petty hiring Rob Babcock, whether it's the coaching carousel, which is the mishandling, whether it's just not even fucking picking up Vince when he first fucking came to Toronto Raptors organization. You know, there's all kinds of stupid bullshit that happened with Vince that never happened with Scotty or people since because the Raptors got their shit together and learned from their mistakes. And well, in some ways, if Vince could have had it like Scotty does right now, when he was on the Raptors, he might have stayed. He might have been that franchise guy, that guy that was going to stick with us for good. But it went wrong in different ways. People said different shit. Things were problems. Michelle Carter this, Charles Oakley this, Richard Petty this, Rob Babcock this. Yeah. I wonder about what that would have been like. I wonder what that been like. Reggie's saying, remember, as I said, the Lakers trade is more for the future than now. I don't think that even if the future with Luka and they rebuild around him, I don't think that's a winning formula because I'm starting to think that Luka's a player that will never win a championship. And it's the defensive deficiencies. It's the statement that was made earlier in this chat that he's going to need a whole phalanx of defenders around him to make up for his deficiencies. He won't do it while LeBron's still there. Now, LeBron leaves, and they build a very defensive, big rebounding team around Luka. They might be able to do it. But I don't have any faith in Rob Pelinka and his decision-making as a GM that he will create this. So I could say, what if this happens, Reggie? What if they have LeBron and Luka together for this year and then a little bit next year and some more, and LeBron's gone, and the whole energy of the team doesn't change. It's just that you insert Luka in the name instead of LeBron, and it's the same bullshit still going forward. Just because the Lakers are so toxic and mismanaged, and that's actually what the problem is in LA. That's what the problem is Pelinka. Pelinka needs to be fired, and they just extended him, idiots. Idiots. They need to fire Rob Pelinka. That's really a big part of it right there. It's really, really a big part of it. Fiercely saying, I can't call in as I'm working, but winning stream, Lex. I appreciate that, Fierce. I appreciate your support. Y'all, nobody has to call in. It's fine. I'll just talk. But this is your option and your opinion can be heard verbally over the phone. If you do want to call me right now, there is the option to call the call-in show. Nobody calls me. I'm not going to be that upset about it either. Maybe I'll call somebody else. You guys want me to try and call somebody blind? We could do that. That could be part of the fun. Maybe we'll do that real quick. Let me just see. I'm going to call somebody from my phone, and it's just going to be off the top, and we're just going to say hi. And this will be the call-in show today, all right? Let's see if they answer. They may not be available. Let's see. And I'm calling them blind. They may be mad at me. Let's see. Let's see what happens. They may not answer. It may be too early, or they may be working. They probably might be asleep, honestly. That may be it.
Hi, I can't come to the phone right now.
They can't come to the phone
right now. Leave your name
now.
and number.
All right, I might try another call, but yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do it right now. We'll try it again in a second. Smooth saying the rumor is the Lakers are looking to decouple from LeBron James. Interesting. Whispers are that the front office is tired of him. I mean, the dude should just retire. I don't know if he should go to another team. It's interesting because there's a whole thing right now where everybody wants Giannis. This just happened since they got eliminated. And the Lakers nation has designs on trying to get Giannis into the Lakers uniform next to Luka. Isn't that crazy? These guys are so greedy. They just think they can get everybody. Also, the Spurs nation is huge on getting Giannis to come and pair with Wemby right now. So they're talking about, of course, our nation's doing shit with trying to trade people out to get Giannis in Toronto too. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The Giannis stuff is very interesting because everybody's saying that Giannis this, Giannis that. What if they traded Giannis for LeBron? What would that be looking like? That's a little weird, man. Stargate's here. Good to see Stargate. I'm ecstatic that the Lakers are done, but ESPN is going to still overcover them. What should the Lakers do? Is LeBron going to get traded? Lakers. LeBron. Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. Stargate, you're going to get a dunk. Because this man's wise. He understands exactly what's going on. These guys will be in Cancun and they'll be done. And they will still talk about this team till they're blue in the face. He's exactly right. And and that's part of the reason why I don't watch these guys is because I see this stupid stuff. So you just got another dunk. You're at 57 on the dunk charts, Stargate. Because, this is totally right. And LeBron stuff and Lakers stuff will not go away. And Charles Barkley will say it. He'll be like, why are we still talking about LeBron? They aren't playing anymore. Why are we talking about them? This is what he'll say. He probably will say that. Seymour saying, if I was the Flakers, I'd move LeBum for Jokic or Giannis to pair with Luka, but they still need more regardless of the fake show. F the fake show. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm with all this. I mean, they would love to have Luka and Jokic on that team. That would be interesting, actually, in some ways. I mean, that may be fun. I don't know. Would they win, though? It's an interesting idea. I don't know if they'd win, though. In some ways, I would root for that. Like, I want to see Nikola get to play with Luka just to see the experiment and see how it goes and see if they're just goofy and they don't really care. So could we trade LeBron to the Nuggets and we pair him back up with Russell? That's so funny, man. That's funny. Nako's here. Nako, did you recognize the voice that was on the answering machine just now, Nako? That's like I was trying to call Abram. Go Wolves, go Pistons, go Clippers. Lakers weren't built for Luka when they traded him. Dallas did originally ask for Ant for Luka. He'd have a better team around him. Yeah. Holy crap. That's an interesting trade, Gerald. I didn't know about that one. You trade Luka to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Anthony Edwards? I think that in some ways the Mavericks fans are going to be pissed off no matter what. They just didn't want Doncic to go anywhere. That's interesting. Luka would be in a better place. Oh yeah, obviously, because Minnesota just beat the Lakers, right? So yeah, he'd be better off paired up with Gobert than LeBron. For sure. For sure. He'd be better off there. Yeah, totally. Totally. So yeah, you're going for Minnesota, Detroit, the LA Clippers. Yeah, there you go. I'm with you, Nako. I'm with you on all three of those right there. Let's go Raptors. That's right, Seymour. Didn't that open gym get you all motivated? Feel like you can run through a wall? Coach Darko makes you feel good, makes you feel like you can do anything. That's right. He's a motivator. He's a motivator, man. And you can see how he really has these guys like believing in him and what he's doing. Seriously, Scotty on his Twitch, like I said, he went on and on about Darko being his guy, his coach. He loves him, and that he believes in what we're laying down here in Toronto and what's going forward. He believes we're going to win championships. We're wasting our time if we don't believe that. And he said, get the hell out of the room if you don't. That's right. Nako saying Palinka is doo-doo butter. Doo-doo butter. Okay, how old are we today, Gerald? How old are we today? He's doo-doo butter. All right. Just because I said this, I'm going to give you a dunk. You said doo-doo butter? What is this, man? He is doo-doo butter. What is this? Are we Chris Boucher's child saying this? He's doo-doo butter. What is this, man? You got 9 dunks now. You're at 27, Nako. That's hilarious. He got a 9th dunk for doo-doo butter. What the fuck is that? That is the weirdest insult, man. He's doo-doo butter. I might start calling people doo-doo butter just because you said, man, you're doo-doo butter. You're doo-doo butter. What the fuck is that, man? Doo-doo butter? Man, I don't even want to get into descriptives about what doo-doo butter would be. That's disgusting, man. That's all I'm going to say to that. That's disgusting. Joe, why don't you call me and explain to me what doo-doo butter is? Come on, man. I know you're at work too, probably. Reggie saying Mavs offered Luka to Milwaukee for Giannis. The Bucks said no. Yeah, that's because in some ways Giannis is more capable of winning a championship than Luka because he plays defense. Giannis is actually an exemplary defensive player, just not at the last second guarding Tyrese Halliburton in the game where they just lost. But Giannis is a way better capable defensive player than Luka, and that's a big part of it right there. Like Charles said, Luka can't guard a chair. He can't guard a chair. Giannis can. He can. That's right. Most saying, love, love, love. You changed the thumbnail so fast today, Lex. Laugh out loud. I've done this 2 days in a row now. I'm like thinking, all right, what am I going to do my content on the next day? And I was going to announce Doug Christie becoming the full-time head coach for the Kings. I was like, because that's a loosely based Raptors story. But in some ways, it's really kind of more Kings freak kind of stuff. But then Scotty got on Twitch. I was like, oh, well, that's bigger story than Doug Christie. So I switched and pivoted to the stream on Twitch. Twitch stream, Scotty's back, 7 months away. Let's give the info, the deets on what Scotty said while he was playing, who was on the Twitch. And then yesterday it was like, all right, I'm going to do something on Common Malak. I was going to do the third think tank on Common and the draft lead up, but then we hired Gordon Hebert. And I was like, that is actually noteworthy enough for a Thursday think tank to talk about the new hire for Team Canada and the men's basketball team. So, yeah, I've had to call audibles 2 days in a row when better stories came out later in the day after I'd already kind of decided what I was going to do my stream on. So, but that Common Thursday think tank is going to be coming. Yeah, I'm going to keep that picture and that everything I did for that, and that'll be coming maybe even next Thursday. We'll do the Common Malawatch Thursday think tank, going over him as a draft pick for the Raptors possibly. But yeah, you notice that, Mo? You're on top of it. You're paying attention. I'm going to give Mo a dunk for paying attention and just being my producer. She's awesome. 54. You got the 54 on the cards on the dunk charts now. Monique 54. That's right. Stargate saying, I don't think neither Giannis or Jokic would want to go to Los Angeles. Their personalities don't mesh with that environment at all. It would be a disaster. I think that you're right. I think you're right on both of them. I think that it would be interesting with Joker. He might do it. But I think you're right that I think that he may not really fit in because he hates the bright lights and the publicity and the scrutiny. In some ways, Luka's like him. So it could be that him and Luka would be so weird if they were paired up in LA and both of them shied away and did not want to have much to do with the press. and they didn't really embrace the whole Hollywood part of it either. They're just kind of like family guys and doing their thing, and like, they care about what they care about, but they're not enchanted by the lure of La La Land. I mean, I could see that. Now with Giannis, it's interesting. I think that you're right. I think that there's some basic like moral differences between Giannis, and Giannis is very much standing on this humbleness. That's nothing to do with the Lakers. He's like very keen on this humble, like, I'm a humble winner, I'm a humble guy. Well, that energy doesn't go well in Lakers Nation. You got to be a braggadocio, kind of like arrogant kind of person to be Lakers kind of stuff, because that's just the way they carry themselves. So that may be true. Now, maybe it would be good for Lakers Nation if Antetokounmpo went there, because he could teach them humility as the leader of the team. In some ways, he could be like, more of an influence on Lakers Nation as a byproduct. It'd be like kind of being his humble self and the way he is. And then more Lakers Nation's kind of like cool and chilled out a little bit more. It's like, because they get the leadership from Giannis. That could be a positive about it. But I think you're right. I think there's a little bit of a moralistic difference between Giannis and the Lakers organization and fan nation. And that it'd be really weird. I think that it'd be more fun to see the two Stooges there and see how they kind of have their escapades trying to avoid the press in the Hollywood lifestyle. Joker is just like, they're trying to interview Nikola all the time, and Nikola's only like giving a shit about getting another beer and watching the horses. He's like, he doesn't give a shit about anything that they do. Is Luka going to end up doing movies now, guys? That's what you got to wonder. That usually happens when people come to LA, is that they get tied up. They meet some sort of guy. He's like, Luka, you should be on a TV show, or you should be in this movie. I can make you have a cameo role. You want to be in a movie, man? You're in Hollywood now, man. You're on the Lakers. You should be in a movie. I'm letting you go see Luka Doncic do a cameo in a movie somewhere, just because he's in the presence of LA. And he has an attractive face, right? He's a pretty good looking guy. You could probably go out there and do a little cameo in a screen. He's probably a horrible actor, though. He'll probably just come in and he'll be like Andy Kaufman doing his little character that he used to do. Hi. And he'd be smiling the whole time. He may be in the scene and the director's like, Luka, can you stop smiling? I'm sorry. I'm just happy to be here. Luka, stop smiling. You're not supposed to be smiling. Your character is a cold-blooded killer. I'm just so happy to be here. I feel like that might be what Luka's movie career would be like. Seriously, no acting chops, and kind of like, why did we bring this guy in here? He's really famous. It's gonna be great. Yeah, but he can't act. Oh, so good, so good. So we're saying that was the only other team that Nico engaged briefly before turning to the Lakers. He talked a little bit to Milwaukee. You're saying he talked to Milwaukee, or who? Oh, yeah, Milwaukee. Yeah, he talked to Milwaukee. Well, that they were going for a big player. They were going for Giannis or Luka. That's what they were going for. That's right. Randolph's here. Good to see Randolph Phillips. May blessings, beloved Raptors freaks. Most informative gang. Life is about choices. Making right choices determines your failure or success. Not choosing leaves others to determine your fate. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's another philosophy that I've been getting into, and it's just the way of the world, the nature of things. There's a lot of organisms and plants and insects and animals out in my yard, and they just have a natural instinct, and they have a natural way of things. And in some ways, the man-made world makes all this weird extraneous shit that's actually not important. It really isn't. In some ways, the most important thing is survival, right? Is being able to feed yourself and have a roof over your heads and stuff like that. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Us humans have made such a convoluted, built-up world of temporary insanity and stupid shit that really isn't a natural thing at all in this world. It really isn't. I don't know. I'm getting all philosophical. I maybe need to stop. Blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families right there. Yeah. Blackhawk saying, touch the sky, Kareem. 1 year older, 41 years wiser. That's right, Kelly Olynyk. Let's go. Nice to see Neil in the chat. Nako saying at Smooth, Nico did talk to the Wolves. There you go. There you go. Fiercely saying, Lex, remind us why the new head coach of Team Canada quit Team Germany. Was there drama? No bridge burned, I hope. No, I think that what happened was that he just stepped down. That I don't remember they fired him or not. But this is natural, like after the Olympics, that all the teams like really question whether they want to continue with their coach or not. That's part of the reason why Jordy is not the coach anymore. It's like kind of the similar thing to what Jordy did, right? Think about Jordy. Did Jordy get fired? No. He just stepped down as the coach. So I think that's what happened. Gordon stepped down. But I may be wrong. I don't know. Maybe somebody could fact check this. You guys want to go look it up? Gordon Hebert. Gordon Hebert leaves German national team. Let's just see what it says. If maybe it'll give me AI answer. Some stupid. Yeah, he just left. It's just said Gordon Hebert is leaving his position as the head coach of the German national team after the 2024 Olympics. He will transition to be the head coach of Bayern Munich in the basketball EuroLeague. Yeah, so it doesn't say he got fired. It just says that he left because in some ways it's a commitment, right? These periods of times. And in some ways, maybe he saw the writing was on the wall with Canada, with Jordy Fernandez and his workload with the Brooklyn Nets, that he was not going to be continuing as the Canada coach. And maybe he saw that job as a real opportunity. He was like, I got to get free from Germany so I can be freed up just in case Canada calls me. I can see that being part of it. Often these guys leave their teams like Jordy and Gordon because it's just the natural end of the chapter of that Olympic chapter. And in some ways, maybe the country wants to start fresh with a new face, Germany and Canada, with a new regime. That's part of it. So no, there's no weird toxicness or negativity. He just left. He said, all right, I coached your team through to the Olympics like I promised you, and now I'm going to leave and go on to the next challenge. And that's what it is right there. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Stargate saying, if any of you haven't watched the latest Open Gym episode, you need to. It was top notch, well produced. I mean, I went on about this already. I went on a really good spiel talking up the technical aspects of Open Gym and their really, really strong level of expertise. All right, looks like we got a call, guys. Let's see who we got. Let's see if it's a call. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hello, who's this?
Can I speak with
Vinay? Yes, I'm Vinay. How may I help you today? You're on a call-in show on the radio, sir.
Could you calm down, please?
I am calm. You're on a radio show, sir. You know what? That was actually a call for the person who had my phone number before, Vinay. And they keep calling because I think he owes people money. I haven't told him. I'm like, this is not Vinay. But I was like, yeah. I told him, you're on a radio show. And he's like, can you calm down? He's like, and then he hung up on me. I said, you're on a radio show. That's so funny. I was like thinking it maybe one of you guys, but then I was also, oh yeah, that number is probably for Vinay. This has been happening for a couple while. That's pretty funny. Okay, so a little bit of comedy there. That's so funny. All right, yeah, but I agree with Stargate. Y'all need to watch Open Gym. Seriously. Randolph saying, happy birthday to all the May born. May you prosper as your soul prospers and you be at peace and good health. Love y'all. There you go. Randolph's so positive. Just so positive. Such a great role model in the RFF. Thank you, Randolph, for those wishes to all the May babies like Kareem. Yeah, there you go. Seymour saying, I don't like the hire at all, but hey, ain't my call, so it is what it is. Good luck with it. And don't put hands on the players like Schroeder because Brooks will not hold back. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that was a weird situation. Like that whole situation was misconstrued. In some ways, they were all together. It wasn't that they were really at odds. It's just that they were all very competitive and amped up. That's what it was. Dennis was being a very fiery leader in that timeout, and he was arguing with Daniel Tice, guys. He was not arguing with Gordon. He was arguing with Daniel Tice about something that he wanted to see happen out on the court, and he was kind of getting a little aggressive with Daniel and coming at him. And that's why Gordon put hands on Dennis. It's not what you guys think. It's not that Gordon Hebert was mad at him and yelling at him or anything like that. He was trying to keep the peace, and Dennis was coming at Daniel. That's what that incident was, just so y'all clear it up. And Gordon put his hands on him to separate them because he didn't want them to fight. And that's when Dennis because he was already amped up and pissed. He said, don't put your hands on me. That's how that all happened. I want to clear the air. It wasn't Dennis versus Gordon Hebert. Gordon Hebert was trying to be a peacekeeper. He jumped in the middle. He put his hands on Dennis, and Dennis did not like it. That's the incident that happened. Gordon's fine, man. Like I said, he has been an assistant coach for Canada 2 different times already. So he's familiar with the program. He played for Team Canada. That helps a lot. He could come in and say, y'all all went to the Olympics last year. So did I. I was in the Olympics in 1984 in LA and played for Canada on one of the Canadian Olympic teams also. So, like I said, I've explained all the different reasons why I like the hire. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But we'll see. Hopefully there'll be results, Seymour, and you'll be like, yeah, okay, this guy's all right. This guy's all right. Well, hopefully we'll see that. Neil's saying, I like how they incorporated previous players in the final open gym. We have a history to brag about. That's what I'm saying. They interwove the past and the present, and they look to the future all in that same episode. And I love the credits at the end. They're like showing all the names and the pictures of the alumni, and then they go into the current players, and they send it with Scott. And it's like, in some ways, it's like they give the last word to Scott. They show Scott. Scott is the center. Scott is the focal point. They did show a lot about Jakob and Emmanuel and RJ and Grady and Jacoby and Jamal too. Yeah. Yeah. You can kind of tell who they're kind of orienting the nucleus around by kind of the way they order the people that they put on the open gym episode. Sadly, you don't see Chris in some ways, but you do also. It's to be determined what happens with Chris Boucher on this team. Hopefully the money can be matched in the right place for both Chris and Masai and Bobby, that he retains himself on our team, maybe with a veteran minimum. Who we'll have to see. We'll have to see. In some ways, it's going to be what values these people are going to have, whether it's how much we value to pay Chris to keep him and how much Chris values to play on the Raptors still and how much he wants to get paid. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Stargate saying, the person I feel the most in the Lakers team is Rui. He was really trying in that game, really putting in an effort. Yeah, he's one of the few guys that had pretty decent stats out of the other Lakers other than LeBron. LeBron had an okay game. Luka did not have a good game. And Hashimura was the second best player on that team. Austin Reeves, nowhere to be found. Totally overhyped and totally over bullshitted by Lakers Nation, his importance and who he is. Totally overhyped. And he's a Kevin Herter. And in some ways, they've overinflated him to be something else. Most saying, love, how emotional Scotty got in the locker room. His final speech to the guys he cares. Yeah, that was really, once again, Mo just pulling like gems with the cue cards right here. That was really special. And like RJ said, he doesn't have to say anything like that. Not every leader on a team is going to be that expressive and open and honest about his emotions about things. And that was the last day of the season against the Spurs in San Antonio in the locker room after the game. Scotty had a really good game, and the rest of them really didn't, and we lost. And RJ said, he's like, Scotty didn't have to say that. He said he loved the team, win or lose. He had a good time this year. He had a lot of fun, and he's enjoying it, and he can't wait to see what's next for us. And man, Scott just being raw and vulnerable and open with his emotions is a big deal. In some ways, he's more real for it. In some ways, he's not going to be like crying crocodile tears. He means that shit. He means that shit. And that was powerful, man. That was powerful, Mo. I'm glad you brought that up and made me comment on it because I might not have brought it up if you hadn't written that just now. Yeah. Smooth saying, Nako, I stand corrected. I stand corrected. All right. I don't even remember what it was. Trevor saying, Brunson and Josh Hart, they were playing injured. Pistons have a chance to win and put New York out. They got some work to do still. They got to win tonight. And then they're going to have to win another one still. But they got a good chance. I have a good feeling they're going to win tonight, guys. If Stevie Roots was asking me how he should put money on things, I would put money on the Pistons tonight. I seriously would. I really would. They've got the momentum in a way, too. Not to mention Tony Brothers hates the Knicks. Let's just put it that way. And they're at home tonight. They're going to have the Detroit home team crowd behind them, too. Neil's saying he cares. He still wants him to have room to go. He's still a baby Raptor to me. Grow, not grow. A room to grow. Yeah. Yeah, Scotty does really care a lot. And the crazy thing is, and this is the funny thing, is like it was kind of said in this open gym episode by Masai and Darko that usually guys don't round into a good leader until later in their career. Scotty is still very young, and he's already showing a really good acumen for mature leadership for his team. In some ways, Scotty expressed this. He's like, my philosophy is if you're going to be a leader and tell your guys what to do, you need to get to know them on other levels. You can't just know them on the basketball court and practice and run around. You need to go eat with them. You need to take them out shopping like I did Jacoby. You need to go and spend time with them and get to know them outside the game. And then you can be a good leader for them because you're beyond just being a teammate. You're a friend and a person that actually has a connection outside the game. That's brilliant by Scott. And in some ways, there's older players in this league. They're trying to be leaders that still don't get this shit. And in some ways, Scotty's advanced for his age on being a team leader and a franchise face. He's very advanced for this reason right here. That's right. It's amazing. Wayne saying, good morning, Raptor Freaks. Good morning to the Sergeant at Arms, Wayne Strainers. I appreciate you, my guy. Oh, he's got my back, Wayne. I appreciate you, man. Lakers loss shouldn't be a surprise. There's a lack of talent all over. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like they just don't know how to build a team. Once again, in some ways, in this new NBA with the salary cap and the way things are, GMs are going to be more pointed out for being very bad at their jobs. And Rob Pelinka, the GM in Milwaukee, y'all got results this week from the way y'all build poor teams. Really, really bad. Kyle Kuzma, really, Milwaukee? Kyle Kuzma, really, Milwaukee? That's a playoff piece that's going to get you far in the playoffs? A man that runs cardio and carves weird shit in his hair and has weird clothes? Yeah. Rob Pelinka, you gonna go ahead and get Luka and feel like, oh, I'm so awesome. Everybody love me in Lakers Nation. Yeah, it doesn't mean shit. All sizzle. All sizzle. No steak. No steak whatsoever. That's right. Nako saying Hart and OG are dogs. I gotta respect Brunson for the pay cut. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know. In some ways, I have a hard time. I have a hard time getting behind the Knicks, Villanova players. I really do. I really, really do. I like Dante more on the Timberwolves at this point. Way more. And Julius, hey, he's awesome, man. I love Julius. Julius is awesome. Let's see. Stargate saying it was good to see all those former Raptors, TJ Ford, Gravis Vasquez, Amir Johnson, Jonas Valanciunas, Andrea Bargnani, Jorge Garboza, Jose Calderon, heck, even Damon and T-Mac. Yeah, this is the other thing. Like, this is the weird thing. Tracy also has been an acrimony with the Raptors franchise in some ways, but also kind of okay. Like, on the down low, he's kind of been okay and done stuff for the Raptors in the years, but also at the same time, he could be in that villain category. In the dark side of the Raptors, Raptors Delight, in that second episode with the Vince episode, they really relished their villainry to Raptors Nation in that one scene where they're sitting there, and that made me hate them again. Like, but it turned all back around when Vince apologized about the Dunkiversary. But right before that, I was like, nah, you're back on my shit list, Vince, because you and Tracy did this show for Sportsnet, and you both sat there and enjoyed like coming back to Toronto, being the villain and getting all the booze from us and killing us. And you talked about how much you enjoyed that. I mean, I get it. In some ways, I get that. Tracy McGrady's a Hall of Famer. Tracy McGrady, in some ways, is not totally Raptors alumni first. He's Orlando Magic alumni first, maybe even Rockets second. Tracy McGrady is not Raptors 1 or 2, is 3, but he is a Raptors rookie. He is a Raptor. He does have a history with us. And in some ways, he came and embraced it just like Vince did on the down low a bit, whether it's him with Grady Dick in a Razor commercial, whether it's him showing up and being at Vince's jersey retirement ceremony, whether it's him participating in Open Gym and Raptors Dark Side with Sportsnet. That showed a commitment to want to come back and talk about and embrace his Raptors beginnings. And I appreciate that. I mean, McGrady, in some ways, he's been smart enough to be open about his misgivings about how he handled some things when he was young with the exit from Toronto. And he's admitted, he did this like 10 years ago, a long time ago, that he feels like if he had stayed in Toronto, him and Vince would have had a better chance to win it all in Toronto on the Raptors. And I appreciate him for admitting that earlier on. And I appreciate him for being around the team and embracing his Raptor roots once again. Because in some ways, you're doing something and Vince doing something that Chris Bosh ain't doing. There's a difference right there. Yeah, Chris Bosh didn't show up for jack shit for Raptors alumni 30th anniversary, did he? No, he did not. He did not participate in anything. And that's why, in some ways, even though he may be one of the most important franchise players in our history, in some ways he's forgotten. In some ways he's not celebrated in Canada like he should be, but that's his own damn fault. He won some championships with the Heat. He's a Hall of Famer as a Heat, and he's Heat Nation. And he has no problem turning his back on Canada and not having anything to do with us again. Well, that's your own damn limitation yourself. Dallas, Texas is Chris Bosh. That's your own damn choice. You didn't have to do that. I don't know if it's too late for you to come back and do something about it. Who knows? Maybe there will be some sort of weird ceremony for Chris Bosh the next anniversary, the 40th anniversary or some shit. Maybe we'll have a healing then, and he'll maybe be like older and wiser and realize, oh man, maybe I do need to embrace all aspects of my career, especially one where I got the bulk of my stats when I was in Toronto, putting up double doubles in 20 and 10 games as a Raptor. And then I became a glorified role player in Miami. I don't know. That's Chris Bosh's decision to get right with us. It's not ours. It's up to him. Monique saying Jacoby's style of clothes is so different, but I love it. He's got like an emo kind of like hip hop / rock look to him. That's the way I would describe it. There's artists that I've watched in the last few years that very much mirror the style of Jacoby. And they're usually moody guys who sing really sad songs on beaches about girls that they love with auto-tune. But yeah, I mean, he's got a cool style. He's definitely got a style. They all have styles in their own way, even Jakob. It's Jim, Toronto Raptors athletic gear style. All right, let's go. Trevor saying New York and Celtics next to go. Now that they got to wait till this series is over. If the Pistons beat the Knicks, they will face the Celtics in the next round. So we can't say that yet. They can't say that yet. Monique saying, also love how great they put Mo Pete, etc. at the forefront, everyone. Darko's words, let's go. Mo Pete was in there. I don't even remember. He's barely in there. He was in there for a second. I mean, they put everybody in there to an extent. And I love the current players talking about how they were amazed at all the alumni coming through. That's what I'm saying. Forget about establishing the culture for the fans and feeling more pride and respect in our franchise. The players get that too when people like Muggsy Bogues, Mo Pete, and TJ Ford show up and say hi to the players and come backstage. Damon Stoudemire, Vince Carter. It means a lot to the players because then they can see the history and the legacy, and they can see where there were people that came before. Damon Stoudemire, Oliver Miller, Tracy Murray, they ain't got no prior Raptors to come in and say hi to them and say, hey, this is what we were all about before you. No, because they were the first ones. And there's nowhere they were starting it. They were the pioneers. And well, we're at the point where our young team can have former Raptors come by and they can be really like, wow, this is a big deal. This is something. As they said in the Open Gym episode, the Raptors brand is an enduring brand that's going to last and is very popular and does very well. It's here to stay. That's right. That's right. Yeah, Darko's words were awesome. He's very inspiring. Very, very inspiring. Seymour saying Joe Dumars won't let the Pistons get robbed again. He's a Pistons alumni. That's an interesting theory that they got screwed over last Saturday. And in some ways, I mean, I would say this, maybe Adam Silver's listening and he's hearing people like me saying that y'all are scripting shit too much. And he's like, man, maybe they're right. They are really smart fans these days. Maybe we got to go legit and we got to stop ref manipulating games to help storylines for what we want. And let's just let the league be absolutely competitive. If a small market team, a team that's not as big in the forefront like the Pistons is going to beat the Knicks, let it happen. If a small market team like the Minnesota Timberwolves is going to beat the Lakers, let it happen because it's supposed to, because the team is better. And stop propping up big market teams and helping them with the referees to get better outcomes because the fans are smarter and we can see it. And maybe Adam Silver's like, you know what? They're right. They can see it too much. And we're getting compared to WWE too much. So maybe he's called it off. Maybe the ref manipulation's been turned down and they're going legit and they're calling it down the line now. In some ways, they got called out for it on Saturday. David Guthrie very clearly got the call wrong and admitted the mistake later. And now, in some ways, maybe the spotlight's on it for happening more. Maybe that's why the Lakers couldn't beat the Timberwolves with the help of the refs, because they already fucked up and screwed up the game on Saturday with the Knicks and the Pistons. And they're on blast and under a spotlight for it. That could be part of it right there. Joe Dumars is no longer in charge of the referees. He stepped down. He's running the New Orleans Pelicans now. And he just announced that he's hired Troy Weaver to run the team with him, that he worked with Troy Weaver in Detroit to help start building up the Pistons from before. Yeah, he also holds a senior position in the league. Yeah, I don't know if Joe's still doing that job. I think to take the job with New Orleans, he had to let go of his head of the refs job that he was doing. Most saying it will be interesting to see how Dylan Brooks and Gordon and Bear get along. I think they'll be fine. The thing about Dylan is either you're with me or you're not. If you're with me, I'm with you to the end, and I will go to the end of the world for you. But if you're the opponent, you're the opposite side, I'm going to annoy the hell out of you, and I'm going to be a thorn in your side. Jimmy Butler, you hate me, I don't care. He's like, you're a pussy, you're a little bitch, is what he said. And then Dylan like goes and scores a basket, or he gets pushed in the air by Jimmy because Jimmy's mad at him. Nah, Dylan knows who his enemies are and his friends are. He won't have any problem with his coach. He never has, really. Dylan doesn't get in trouble with his coaches. That's not the issue. He gets in trouble with the opponents. And he knows who to direct things at. And Golden Bear is not going to have a problem with him. He's going to enjoy coaching him because he's a very useful player. Let's just put it that way. Seymour saying, yeah, I wore a Leafs jersey to work, and I'm totally regretting it. So I rep my city no matter where I am or I go. You know, that's fine, man. Don't feel bad about that. Are you hearing it from coworkers, people that are like maybe Oilers or Flames fans? That could be it. That could be it right there. Also, there is a very overwhelming sentiment. There may be some anger towards other parts of Canada coming from Alberta right now because of the election. Yeah, I don't know. This Danielle Smith needs to watch out. She's talking about wanting the. All right, she's trying to tough talk to Mark Carney and saying you no more status quo. There will not be the way it's been going and how we've been getting screwed over. Basically, all she wants to do is she wants to open up environmental regulations so she can just pump, and just pump. And in some ways, the national government holds Alberta down from output of oil. Because in some ways, we're trying to balance environmentalism with economics. And in some ways, they don't care about environmentalism. If Danielle Smith had her way, she'd run roughshod over that whole damn province and turn it into wasteland and dry it up of everything and just make all the money she can. That's the thing. There needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance. And that's why they get so mad at the federal government, is because in some ways they make the rules and the limits on how much they can output the oil. But it's a balance of responsible oil production in consideration of the environment. So Danielle Smith wants to degrade the province of Alberta just for her own profit gains for the country, for the province. And in some ways, she thinks that the country's being unfair to her because they won't let her just open up the world, the earth, and just get the oil as much as she wants. That's really the crux of the whole issue right there. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's just the oil and the amount that she can get out of the ground and how greedy she is. That is it right there. And Seymour may understand this better than any of us because he's in the middle of it in that province. So if she starts talking about wanting to leave because they're being unfair to her and shit like that, that's the whole reason right there. And it's in some ways, it's the Canadian federal government taking a strong stance on environmentalism and taking a stance on keeping our natural world safe and not degrading it. If she had her way, she'd clear out all the forests and she'd pump all the oil out of the ground and just make as much money as possible. Because that's the only thing they care about in some ways is money. The politically, the PC government only cares about money and making money. And in some ways, we got to worry about the people and social services in the world of Trump, because that's what's going on down there. They're cutting all the social services for their own gain. All that money that they're cutting from the government is not going to be like saved. No, they're going to figure out ways to put it in their own bank accounts and steal it from everybody instead of it going to Head Start and programs that actually help people. That's the biggest con of it all, is that anybody who thinks that what Trump and Elon are doing is helping the U.S. government is wrong. They're gutting it for their own financial gain. And any of the money that's made from taxpayers is going to go to like grants to SpaceX and Tesla. And he'll steal the money that way. And Trump will take it in donations for his campaign from big companies that he helps out. It's all a big racket. It's all a big racket. Follow the money trails and you'll figure it out. And they're not even hiding or covering their tracks anymore. He does different things to manipulate the stock markets, and they change how they buy the stocks. And he manipulates it himself. And then a bunch of his friends make a whole bunch of money because they made it happen that way. It's not like the stocks did it just on a way. No, he manipulated it and made it happen so that they can make a quick buck. It's a bunch of racketeers. It's a fucking mobsters that are running the United States right now. And they only care about making money for themselves. They don't care about babies starving, people having roofs over their heads, people having health care, people having education. None of that shit matters. All out the window. They just want to have more and more billions of dollars in their bank account. That's the only fucking thing that they care about, Donald Trump and Elon Musk. That's it. And if you don't understand that, and you don't believe me, well, there's some swampland I can sell you in New Jersey, and you can be a swamp dragon. There you go. There you go. Let's see. Seymour is laughing at Mo and saying, "Hope all is well, super fan." Yeah, I think Mo's doing good. She's enjoying the off season. She's finding more time for herself, and maybe she's getting more reacquainted with friends and family that she hadn't seen as much because she's busy during the season. Very, very busy. Very, very busy. Wayne saying, apart from Oklahoma City, other Western Conference teams' bench is deficient. Nuggets only Westbrook, Rockets nobody really. Probably Jeff Green. Apart from the Knicks, Eastern Conference teams have at least 3 bench guys. I know we were kind of discussing this already, Wayne, the last couple of days. I really do feel like half the teams have them and half the teams don't, and it's not really by conference. Because in some ways, you're right. The Knicks don't have a bench. The Celtics, in some ways, don't totally have a bench. The Nuggets don't really have a bench. The Lakers didn't have a bench. I'd say the Timberwolves have a bench. The Thunder have a bench. The Rockets have a bench to me. I think the Rockets have a bench. The Clippers have a bench. I would say they have a bench too. But yeah, this is an important determinant of how far you can go in the playoffs is, do you have a bench? Do the Pacers have a bench? Kind of. They have a bench. Yeah, kind of a bench. Fiercely saying happy birthday to Kareem. I like that. Most saying Brandon Ingram is so soft spoken. I'll keep saying it. He's excited. He loves Darko. Yeah. Yeah, I want to hear his raps, man. I want to hear that man spit some tunes. Let's go to the Instagram stories and let's see what's going on with the Raptors. First, we got Lloyd. He's got his shoes on. Let's see. He dropped the 4 files, guys. There's a new 4 files out this morning. It's a 4-minute clip of a montage of scenes from the Thailand and Philippines trip that Scotty and Jonathan and the boys just went on. So if you want insight to the fun that they were doing and some of the things they saw, there's just little clips all interspersed together that Lloyd put together on the 4 files. And well, they blew up, man. He didn't have anybody following that channel. And I don't know if I had something to do with it. I put it on blast, but now he's got 12,000 subscribers. He had like 200 a week ago, and it just blew up to 12,000 just in the last week. Crazy. Kyle Lowry's promoting a cricket tournament in Philadelphia on his Instagram stories. That's kind of interesting. Kyle Lowry is super excited about a cricket tournament that's going down in Philadelphia. Let's see. Shamshay has posted a lot of these guys posted what Raptors Admin posted a dance that these guys do to come down there. You know, I love how Darko at the beginning of games says energy. I'm giving you energy. Go out with energy. I mean, that dude is such a good coach. The more I hear behind the scenes microphone of him in the locker room and on the bench and what he does and what he's telling to guys, like that little moment with him and Oshai when he said, you need to like get out of your head and just do what you do. And just play, have fun. He's such a good coach. And I honestly, anybody who just blanketly says Darko's a bad coach and they just look at the standings and they do not watch any of the games or pay attention to Open Gym, you guys are wrong, and wrong. You can see it. You can go watch this shit and you will be proven wrong. That's right. I love how Shamshay was mentioned by Jacoby in the Open Gym episode. He's saying that, you know, a lot of people have been making mistakes of saying the Raptors had 4 good rookies this year. Jacoby made it very clear there were 5 good rookies this year in that Open Gym and making sure that Shamshay is not forgotten. Of course, JB, J-Mo, John Maul, and then Ulrich. Yeah, and Jacoby. That's right. There's 5 rookies. Leo Routen's words of wisdom this morning. Each morning gives you a choice. See life as a beautiful gift or a heavy burden. The mindset you wake up with sets the tone for your entire day. That's why those who begin their mornings with deep gratitude tend to feel more joy than those who start with complaints. You know, I'm a naturally a negative person. I grew up being a very negative person up until I quit drinking at 35, and I started to become a more positive person. My natural proclivity is to be negative, but I've learned to change my mind and train it to be looking at gratitude and positive things, and more I've been happier. I was partly depressed when I was younger, partly because of my cynical, negative mindset. And once you recognize that you have one and you hear the self-talk inside you or the thinking that is negative, you can start to control it when you're aware of it. And that's the key right there. I appreciate you, Leo Routens. Good morning. Choose coffee. Have the best day. Yeah, I won't choose coffee, but good. Thank you, Leo, for the words of wisdom on the Instagram stories. You finally showed up at Instagram, which is nice because I left Twitter, but now I'm going to leave Instagram too. So it is what it is. Let's see. Jacoby's posting this. So, my dear brothers and sisters, be strong and immovable. Always work enthusiastically for the Lord, for you know that nothing you do for the Lord is ever useless. This is Jacoby Walter's words of wisdom this morning. Very interesting. Wow, everybody's coming out with words of wisdom today. It's not just Trevor and Randolph. We got Jacoby Walter coming with the words of wisdom right there. If you're doing it in the name of the Lord, no matter how menial or simple the task is, it is not useless, is what Jacoby is saying. Broke back baby stunner. Broke baby stunner. Eugenio Maroy put on the clothes, showing a fashion show there on his Instagram. AJ Lawson went to the Blue Jays game last night, and he was sitting behind home plate, right behind home plate. AJ just reveling being a Toronto Raptor in the offseason, man. He's got to feel good. He's got things set up in the dream. He's in his hometown. He's a bona fide Raptor. He's going to be coming back next season. He's going to put in that work. He's going to shine. He's going to go further, and I hope he sticks around for a while. Seriously. As Scotty has Jonathan, RJ should have AJ, is what I'm saying right here. There. And speaking of Jonathan, he's posted the guys dancing on the sideline for the Raptors clip. There you go. Open Gym was fire, guys. I hope all the Raptors watch it and see what's going on. I tried to ask Scotty if he watches Open Gym, but I'm pretty sure he does. Pretty sure he does. Jay Nathan putting up more shots in San Francisco, the former Don, back his alma mater. We're in the Raptors warm-up, but putting up shots at his old college gym right now. Let's see. Toronto Tempo is gone. This community always layup basketball. What's going on there? Layup citywide 3-versus-3 tournament coming up. Toronto Tempo supporting that. So check out that layup 3-on-3 tournament, guys. Jamal Shed has posted the guys dancing in the lineup. Also, solidarity with the team in all kinds of ways. There you go. Let's see. Savannah Hamilton is on the boldest once again. TMU boldest. And they just won, wrapped up her season in France. Who wrapped up their I win twin. Oh, twin just wrapped up her season in France. So Savannah's twin sister, Oceana, has finished her season in France, her professional season in France. So that's cool. Savannah's sister, of course, playing her twin sister is playing professional basketball still. Savannah used to play basketball, but she's gone more in the broadcasting route, of course. There you go. Let's see. They got a post of all the Raptors in masks saying they're in the Bat Cave on Raptors admin. Pascal Siakam's got a cool post of him and Giannis in black and white, and it says there's history. Yeah, there's definitely history between Giannis Antetokounmpo and Pascal Siakam in the playoffs in 2019 and before that even. We had Milwaukee series, playoff Powell and Pascal battling the Milwaukee Bucks a couple years on the Raptors. Not just in the year we beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals. But yeah, there's history. And well, Siakam has beaten Giannis once again this week. Once again, Giannis beats him. Kelly Olynyk is in England, y'all. Jolly old England. And he's always posting like so much stuff, food and stuff. Crazy. Kelly Olynyk, man, you make me hungry, man. What is that? Beef, man. And that sandwich. There's Big Ben. He took a picture of Big Ben. So he is in London. There's some crazy, what is that? That's gross. That looks like some sort of weird English toast or something like that. I don't know. He's out taking pictures. He's sightseeing in Europe with his wife, I'm sure. Yeah, there's the guys with the fuzzy hats that stand with the guards. Yeah, the Royal Guards. There you go. That's what's up. Lindsey Dunn's promoting Boston Pizza has another tournament coming up. So, yeah, there's the Boston Pizza championship something. I don't know. What is the Boston Pizza thing? Anyway, Boston Pizza doing something. Lizzie Dunn's all about it. There's your Instagram stories for the day. I'm at 2 hours and 12 minutes. I'm way over, man. I got to get going. Seymour saying, the Thompson twins annoy you. Why, Lex? I think they're great players to have in a bright future. They annoy me because they're dirty. That's why they annoy me. I know that within this certain level of things, they're just aggressive, physical, athletic players, but they are dirty. They have done things in games where I've seen them take cheap shots and hurt people unnecessarily. So I don't like them for that. I think that they're very talented, and I think that they're going to be amazing players. And I agree with a lot of what you're saying. They annoy me because they're unnecessarily physical and athletic, and because they're so fast and strong in the same combination, they're dangerous. And they're not holding themselves back. And I've seen them run in and run at people in very dangerous ways. They're not protecting the opposing team. In some ways, they don't care about that. That shows their hierarchy of compete is that I'm going to go all out with the absolute top of my ability and quickness and strength, and I may hurt somebody on my way. That's why, right there, Seymour. I think that they're nice guys, probably. I think that they're very interesting. I would love to have either one of them on our team, but that's why. That's why. I think they're unnecessarily dangerous is what it is. And we'll see in the years to come. There's maybe something happens around one of the Thompsons, and you'll be like, holy shit, Lex is right. This guy is very dangerous. Smooth saying Leafs fans are overbearing, man. Yep. And I don't consider myself Leaf fan necessarily. I will root for the Leafs because I'm from Toronto, but I'm not a part of Leaf Nation. I do not consider myself a Leaf Nation. If I have to choose an NHL team that is my team, it's the Winnipeg Jets. That is my team. And that's because my family's out there. And that's historically a team for my family that roots. My uncles love the Jets. And I love my uncles. So there you go. Happy birthday, KT, from Superfan Mo. I love that. Nako saying, 69. Okay, Nako. You know what? Let me do this real quick. I know this probably won't work, but we'll do this real quick. This will be funny. All right, let's see. We might as well. We tried to call Abram. We might as well try and call Gerald too. Gerald, I'm calling you. You might be at work. I don't care. Gerald, just like get on there and say, I can't talk, and then get off. Something like that. I don't know. Are you live, Jerry? Are you even here still? Let's see if he answers the phone. Let's see if Nako answers the phone. It's the Thursday Think Tank calling show. I'm calling y'all. Yeah, he's not.
Your call has been forwarded.
Yeah, he's not answering. He's not answering. I've got 2 strikes. If I call one more person, hopefully they'll answer. But yeah, no answer from Gerald. It's probably because he's at work and he can't. Seymour saying only Toronto jersey I don't have is a soccer team. And the next one coming in this is the Shader Sanders Argos. Hopes it happens. Did he get drafted in the NFL or not? Because that would be the way that he'd turn up on the Argos, right? I don't know. I did not pay attention to the draft enough. I know they played a prank on him, but I don't know if he actually got drafted. Wayne saying the problem with most fans is that they have no idea how to be fans. Thanks for Raptors freaks. We never made Chris Boucher not playing a huge topic. We asked the question, but we didn't dwell on it. Yeah, in some ways, look, I thought that looking at Chris, he looked less angsty this year than he did last year. Like he seemed more calm, cool, and collected about it all than he did last year. I understood the same thing happened last year and everything. It happened almost exactly the same way. He played 50 games and then he didn't play for like the last 30 games of the season. And everybody's like, why the hell are they not playing Chris? And it was the same reason. They had to try out guys for the next year, and they're young guys, and we know who Chris is. And in some ways, we weren't trying to totally win outright. We've gone over this over and over again. But the energy from Chris was never really like a mad energy in some ways. Maybe a little frustrated, maybe a little confused. But it wasn't really a negative energy that I was feeling from Chris, even though he was not playing. It's a weird situation. I'd hate for Chris to move on from the Raptors this summer and not to get a goodbye game. But if that's the way it goes, so be it. The Groat didn't get a goodbye game in a Raptors jersey. The Groat had his last game for the Raptors against the Lakers in L.A. And then he never played for the Raptors ever again. And that was in Tampa. He didn't even play for us on the Raptors in Toronto this whole entire last season. He played for us because he left after the Tampa year, Kyle Lowry. So we didn't get a proper goodbye for Kyle as a player in a Raptors jersey in Toronto. We didn't. And that's why his return when he was on Miami, when he finally played against us then, was so special because of that. That's why right there. All right, let's see what's going on. We do have a caller on the phone today. Hello, caller. You're on the Raptor Freak Thursday Think Tank live call-in show. How do we have today?
Hey, Stargate here.
Stargate. Hey, good morning, Stargate. Good to talk to you, man. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm glad it's May. I'm glad it's growing season. I'm going to plant some more stuff today. In fact, I'll probably put these carrots in the ground later on today. That'll be fun. Yeah.
Nice. Good to grow your own stuff.
Yeah.
You didn't need to do that, a lot now. Right?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you have a yard or not. You can do microgreens and stuff inside your own apartment. You don't necessarily need to have land. You can actually grow food for yourself inside your apartment. There's all kinds of great kind of things to do that these days. So Stargate, what's on your mind this morning?
Yeah, I wasn't going to call in. I was going to let other people call in. I don't want, people. I know some people think that I kind of come across a little arrogant sometimes.
No.
No. So I was going to just ease back today and not call in. But, I just want to talk about 2 things, really. First of all, let's talk about the Lakers. I'm glad they're done.
Yeah.
I know we're going to hear, ESPN and the American mainstream sports media going in on them not going in, but still talking about
Still,
them,
yeah,
for the whole season,
bringing them up,
off season.
yeah,
bringing them up. What are they gonna do if they're gonna get Giannis?
yeah.
What's gonna happen with LeBron? We're gonna hear it all over. But I'm so glad they're done. I hope I don't hear anything about the Lakers until the beginning of next season. I don't want to hear nothing about the Lakers.
But it depends on where you put your ears. I mean, if you don't pay attention, if you don't go to those places, you won't hear it. I don't hear it. I don't hear it myself but I close myself off, and I'm very limiting about the stuff I'm taking in to kind of keep all the crap out. So,
yeah. And the last thing I want to talk about is, of course, the open gym.
Yeah, this is a much better thing to talk about. Please, just espouse on that open gym for a little bit right now, please.
For me, I mean, it proved to me. I think I wrote it in Discord, right? And to me, it proves to me, right, that this team is here to stay, no matter what anybody else says. So all the non-basketball, the basketball hating, hockey fans that are out there who, want to shit on basketball all the time and shit on our team and all that, kick rocks, right?
Yeah.
You're not getting rid of this team. It's not going anywhere, right? All the Americans,
God willing,
the xenophobic Americans who, like to shit on our team in spaces or whatever, kick rocks. We're not going anywhere. We're coming. This team is being built a certain way, and it proves. And something I've said all the time, on various mediums here. I said it on Spaces. I've said it, in Discord. I've said it here. I mean, they understand the front office, Bobby and Masai. They understand the environment that they're in. They understand that this is a different market. Masai has said it so many times that it's a different market. It's a unique market. They understand that this team cannot run like any other team in the NBA. This is why Tim Leiweke brought him in, and he brought in Bobby, and people like Teresa Resch came in. They understand this market, and they're building it a certain way. They have to build it that way.
Yeah.
Right. And the way that they're building it, you can see that Masai and Bobby, both Masai and Bobby, they realize that it's unfinished business.
Yeah.
Masai really wants to win another championship.
Yes.
To shut all the people up who was saying, "Oh, that was a fake championship." Oh, if Golden State wasn't injured, they would have beaten us and all that. He hears all that shit. He says, "Oh yeah, okay, hold my beer. I'm gonna show you something." Right? So he's building a championship team. Yeah. This team is gonna be.
It makes sense.
Next year. Yeah, I don't think next year. I think next year they're going to take a big step, right? But I don't think
make the playoffs.
A championship contending team yet. But you can see it's heading in that direction.
We're building.
We have a head start. We have a head start on all of these other teams. I think I wrote it in the chat. The Lakers, the Suns, the Heat. What was the other one I mentioned there? The Bucks.
They're all going to have to restart.
They have to rebuild.
Yeah.
They have no choice right now. They have to rebuild. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? They have to. So they're going to have to blow it up. They're not going anywhere. Right? We've already done that. We're on our way.
I like Darko's way of putting it in the open gym when he's talking to the guys. It's like, look, wins are going to come if we continue to do things correctly and keep building and winning every day and developing and doing things right. And then Scott said in the open gym, win or lose, I believe in us and we're going to do it right. We're going to get it more and more right. And the wins are going to come more and more. And they're exactly right. The more they're familiar together, the talent goes up with Brandon coming in. The rookies continue to grow, and Grady and Oshai too. The sky's the limit. Scotty grows as a franchise player. The road towards the second Larry O.B. for the Raptors is there. And unlike what other people may want it, some of the people you mentioned, this team is not going to be like the Charlotte Hornets. This team is not going to be like the Washington Wizards and be in every year at the bottom of the playoff scene. We don't stay down there for very long because we are run well and we have a plan. And like you said, we're setting the foundation for something for the next championship. And it may not be next year. We get the playoffs next year. But in the next couple of years, Scotty and them are going to keep elevating them and bringing them up. And Bobby and Masai will make the adjustments with the roster pieces as they need to make more sense to get that second championship picture more fully realized.
Yeah, and I was one of the people that was saying, maybe we need to bring in one more big piece into this scenario here. But you know what? I changed my mind. After watching, I think let's see what this group can do together. Keep this group together, and let's see. Maybe one or two little small, changes at the bottom of the roster, maybe.
Bigger players, a couple of bigger players, whether it's through the draft or a free agent. Another big is necessary. Yeah.
Yep. And then let's see what this core group can do.
Brandon.
Right? Brandon. BBQ, right?
Yeah. BBBQ.
BBQ yak. BBQ yak.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I don't want him to get rid of any players right now.
No, I don't.
Not even Chris Boucher.
I get so mad that I see RJ and Emmanuel being put into these different trades right now, and I'm just like, what the is wrong with you guys? Seriously, these two guys are really good, and people forget how young they are. They are so young.
That's a lot of people. Those are those little young kids that they play too much. 2K. They on the Yahoo Fantasy Leagues a little too much. You know what I mean?
Eli, the Ninja Kid, 29.
Yep. So they can just trade anybody for any reason, anytime. It doesn't work like that.
That actually might be good code word for Scotty going forward. If you ever see Scotty in public, just say to him, Eli, the Ninja Kid, 29. And he'd probably laugh about it because he'd be like, yeah, I remember that name. Eli, the Ninja Kid, 29.
You can't do that.
I'm sorry. That was from Twitch the other night. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that. I usually come on and see him.
He was recruiting. He was recruiting for his 2K team, and one guy was named Lethal Shots, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna put you on my team." But then he was like, "You haven't even played in 6 months. You're lying to me, bro. It says your last login was in 6 months. So how the hell are you good?" And then this other guy in the chat said, "I'll join your team, Scotty." And this guy's like, "What's your team handle?" He's like, "It's Eli the Ninja Kid 29." And Scotty right then said, "No, you can't be on my 2K team, man, because you have a childish name, bro."
Well, this team, our team, we're in a good place. Let's see what this core can do.
Yeah.
Next season, don't do any drastic moves.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
And I don't see anything that's broken right now. Raptors fans, just chill and just enjoy your summer. Go watch the Leafs in the playoffs. Watch the Blue Jays play some baseball. Forget about trade rumors with the Raptors right now. None of it's really realistic or feasible right now. It make no sense. And y'all can just rest for a while. You don't need to be doing this Raptors Digest. So just chill.
Yeah. And we're going to get a good draft pick. Let's just get the draft pick, see where we land in the draft, and let's just go forward.
Yeah.
And health is the key. That's the thing we need to worry about.
Yes.
That's the thing we need to worry about.
Yes.
We need to be healthy.
We need these guys to be available and there and playing more and more together. This is totally true.
This season.
Yeah.
Even this season. I truly believe that if this team was
more healthy,
they would have made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not the play-in.
I could see that. If we didn't have the injuries to Scotty, Emmanuel, Jacoby, Jakob was hurt for a while. RJ was out for a little bit. Everybody missed time at certain times. We never had the full complement, especially in the first half of the season. We were more healthy in the second half of the season, but then we were doing every other days with Jakob and IQ and RJ and stuff like that. And in some ways, we really needed that full health at the beginning when the schedule was really, really tough, but we didn't have it. And that may have added up to, I don't know, maybe 5-10 more wins. And all of a sudden, we are in the playoffs, just like what you're saying, Stargate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
All right, man. I appreciate you calling in and making this a call-in show after all.
Yeah. Continue doing what you're doing.
I appreciate you, man. It's with the fun and socializing, the hanging out, and the support from you guys is what keeps me driven and going. Stargate, I appreciate you so much, man. And I hope I can hang out with you more on the Discord from time to time. Just hang out and chat or whatever. Just pal around, watch whatever's going on, stuff like that.
Yeah, do some more wrestling reviews and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right, Stargate. Well, happy May, and have a great first day of May. And I'll see you around, man. I appreciate you calling today, man. Let's go Raptors.
All right. Take care, man.
All right, bro. All right, awesome, man. I really appreciate Stargate calling in just now and saying hi on the chat tonight, man. Oh, awesome stuff. So good, so good. All right, let's see. We're on Wayne. The problem with most fans is that they have no idea how to be fans. Thanks for Raptors Freaks. We never made Chris Boucher a huge topic. We asked the question, but we didn't dwell on it. Yeah, I kind of went over that already. Yeah, in some ways, it's like, I would say, look, and I'm not trying to be egotistical, Raptors fans. If you really want to be on top of things in a deep way that's sensible for the team and not toxic, you should be watching my channel right here. Because listen, we answer a lot of the questions that common Raptors fans have. That you know what? You want to be illuminated on subjects, you can come here every single morning and you will hear what you need to hear about what's going on with the Raptors in ways that are for the team as a fan and not tearing it down. And that is the most important thing. If you want to be a fan, why would you want to tear down your own team? Why would you want to be on Spaces or Facebook or someplace writing crap about the team in negative ways that is not helpful to Masai Ujiri and the job he's trying to do? That's what I'm saying. In some ways, that was part of the brand of the Raptor Freaks that I wanted to build, is that we are for our team as real fans and we're not trying to fuck them up. Because there's a lot of fans in fan nations. I don't even call them fans. They're just in the nations. Lakers Nation, Knicks Nation, Leafs Nation, Raptors Nation, that don't have the best interests in their teams at heart. In some ways, they're more controlled by their own egos and they don't care what me thinks. And they're going to talk, even if it's not helpful or even destructive to the team in certain ways. That's the difference right there. That's the difference right there. Boom goes the dynamite. There you go. Most saying shout out Chris Boucher's manager, Ibrahim. Yeah, and Mama Mary, Papa Chris sounds great. Yeah, and he's shown his child a bit more on Instagram recently. And yeah, he gave a little bit of a window to Lindsey Dunn about being a dad and how that's changed him. Fantastic content, Lindsey. Once again, Saturday Share the Love Club for Lindsey Dunn on Saturday. We'll have a Friday freak out tomorrow, guys. I don't know what I'm freaking out about again. I'm trying to remember. There's something that keeps happening. There's things that have been happening, so I need to freak out. Smooth saying, Lex, another show you should watch is Andor. It's a Star Wars franchise offering. It tells the story of the beginning of the rebellion, no Jedi, Force, or dark side, in the very best Star Wars content. Interesting. Ever, period. You think that show Andor is the best Star Wars thing ever made? I might have to ask Carl Lane what he thinks. Maybe he'll agree with you. All right, Reggie, I'm a pay attention to this. This may be something I'm more apt to watch because I'm more of a fan of the Star Wars franchise than Battlestar Galactica or Star Trek. So, but I really haven't caught up on all the crazy Star Wars shows that Disney Plus has put out. I wish I'd watched more of The Mandalorian. I kind of watched some of it on a plane once over somebody's shoulder. But I don't have Disney Plus and stuff. So some ways that's my limitation, although Adriana might be able to help me out with that if I want to watch Andor. Maybe her and I want to watch it. We did set out to try and watch the whole Star Wars story because she does not watch any Star Wars really. But we kind of got sidetracked and we didn't keep to it in some ways. I don't even remember why. But I will take this seriously. All right, you want me to watch Andor? It's very heavy, not for children. Interesting. Man, in some ways, that show, I hate to say it, may be kind of useful for our day and age right now. Let's just put it that way. And what I just said, without even seeing the show, Reggie, you might say I'm probably right. Wayne's saying maturity means belonging and knowing who you are. RJ understands that no one player can carry any team to championship, as it has never happened. And it's almost impossible now. That includes all sports. RJ, you know, in some ways, his ego could be his biggest enemy, but it isn't. And that's a glorious thing. In some ways, his ego is not an enemy to him. In some ways, he's very well grounded. In some ways, he could be like, why not me? Me. In some ways, there's all kinds of people that have given him that opportunity to think that, whether it's the media, U.S. or Canadian, whether it's even the way the Raptors center, the way that they promote the team. They don't put RJ in the forefront as much as Scott, for sure. But in some ways, RJ's connection with the Raptors is so special, and on the download, they can utilize it for very special occasions and really flesh it out because he is that kid from our area that plays for his home team, and he really plays with his heart on his sleeve. So, man, it's an interesting situation with RJ because he is kind of not totally the forefront of the spotlight, and in some ways, he deserves that. But in some ways, he's humble enough, and maybe he also enjoys the positives of not being completely the forefront in the spotlight. Scotty may carry it better than him in certain ways as far as things. But RJ's totally fine with being right near him and very close to that proximity, but not necessarily right in it. That's the thing, man. That's the thing right there. Kaloy saying, Trev sent some of us those delicious foods. Yeah, Trevor is torturing us on the Discord. He keeps posting his menus for his food trucks down in Fort Lauderdale and Miami. And the food is delectable, delicious, and tantalizing, enticing. It makes your stomach rumble as soon as you see the damn picture. It's annoying. It's annoying, man. This is like Trevor. It's annoying, but it's fun because I like to see what he's making. But it's also kind of like, man, you made me now have to go to the kitchen and make something for me to eat because I'm hungry now. That's right. I'm with you, man. Can we get like on a mailing list? I don't know if Trevor can send prepared foods through the mail. How long would it take? And would it be any good when it got there? Come on now, Kaloy. As much as Santino, you want that food from Trevor J's food truck. I don't think we're getting it because we're too far away. We'd have to go to the state of Florida to get it, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Trevor, man, crazy pictures, man. All the time, that stuff you're doing right now. Yeah. Yeah. Stargate saying Joe Dumars is now the EVP of the Pelicans. That's right. So in some ways, he's not going to help the Pistons today. No, he's not. But Tony Brothers will. Watch. Tony Brothers will help him. Monique's giving my cutoff. W Stream W Vibes. Thank you, Mo. I appreciate that. Keep at it always, Lex. Limit comments. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Chriscom's here. Good to see the great Chriscom, a prognosticator, a person that will figure out what's going on and coming up. He will predict the scores for games. I got the current Raps beating the Lakers. Way better balance at a solid big, and we're back. Yeah, I could say that's probably true. You know, the Lakers got into the playoffs. They got 50 wins this year, which is amazing. In some ways, the fact that they got a 50-win season this year is absolutely kind of amazing, honestly. I don't see how they did that. In some ways, that's smoke and mirrors and favoritism for the Lakers. Maybe mostly healthy year for LeBron is part of it too. But yeah, I think that if we play the Lakers, we'd kick their ass. We'd kick their ass. And if we're fully healthy and they're playing their roster that they had that they just lost to Timberwolves last night, and we're playing our roster with Brandon available, we kick their ass. I think you're exactly right, Chris. Yeah, I'm okay being solo on this thought. P.S. Let's beat Giannis tonight. No, I don't think you're solo on that. I'm with you on that. I think that the Raptors, as they are, with the better depth and the rookies that we have, and Grady Dick is shooting a shot. Yeah, we could beat the Lakers. We can beat the Lakers. In fact, we get up for the Lakers. We do. Kyle Lowry used to get up for the Lakers and want to beat their ass. DeMar DeRozan too. And well, Scotty's kept that tradition going. He wants to beat the Lakers. And the Lakers have had some success against us, though, since Kyle left, unfortunately. Stargate saying, can you imagine those Jokic brothers in L.A.? They will be off the court issues popping up all over the place with that paparazzi out there. And it will not be good optically for the Lakers or Nikola. Bad idea. Yeah, I don't know if there'll be a problem. I mean, they're rowdy guys and they're loud and boisterous, but I don't think they actually get in legal trouble. They're just kind of weird, like Serbian guys that are just loud and kind of fun. They're a party. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they would cause all kinds of problems. Maybe you're right. Yeah, disaster waiting to happen, huh? All right. Kaloy saying, so apparently we have a Giannis sweepstakes this offseason. That's what they're all saying, but, I think it's true. I think that he will be moved. I think that in some ways he's made overtures that he's not happy, and this is just the latest failure. And he may be like, yeah, this is it. I'm done, guys. I'm not coming back. I don't want to be back here. Trade me. I could see this happening. I think that Dame getting hurt really badly is not good for this either, because it looks like Lillard may be out for all of next season. That's not going to make Giannis want to hang around in Milwaukee right there. Is it official? Not really, but experts are predicting it. They don't see a way forward for the Bucks. That's Kaloy's words. Stargate saying the Lakers, Bucks, Heat, Suns all need to go into full rebuilds. If they don't, they will be spinning their wheels for the next few years and going nowhere. Raptors are already ahead of the game. This is kind of what Stargate said when he called. I guess he wrote this in maybe just before. Kaloy saying bench units is going to be so important moving on. It's going to be hard to pay second unit vets with the new CBA. Raptors smart to look into second rounders and invest time developing them. Yeah. Well, like Stargate said, we got to do things different than all the other teams in the league. We know that. Masai knows that. And in some ways, we've gotten really good at the ways we do things other than other teams can't. And whether it's Kawhi Leonard, Brandon Ingram, whether it's drafting masterfully and not missing on draft picks. We hit almost all draft picks is what's happening these days. We hit on all draft picks. We hit on all 5 last season. That's for sure. That's for sure. That's right. Mo's saying AJ Lawson doing yoga with his pops recently. Oh, yeah. I saw a little clip that you posted in Facebook there. That's cool. Seymour saying put an environmental stature on any city is the same ignorance to why Americans don't want to play in Toronto. Stop it. Wait, put in an environmental stature on any city is the same ignorance to why Americans don't want to play in Toronto. Stop it. It's 2025, not 1970. Saying someone can't drive in any city is nonsense. I'm trying to understand. Are you saying because of what I said about Alberta? Or are you saying this because it's just strictly basketball? I'm not totally understanding this. Why Americans don't want to play in Toronto. Stop. Yeah, I don't think there's an issue with players not wanting to play in Toronto at this point. Certain players may not, but like Masai said recently, he doesn't care about the ones who don't want to play here. He'll find enough ones that do want to play here, like Brandon Ingram. Dame Lillard doesn't want to play in Toronto. Well, Brandon Ingram does. And there will be some that will say, no, I don't want to come to Toronto, Alonzo Mourning. And then there will be some that are like really excited to come to Toronto and will be here immediately, like right away, like JYD. So, it's going to be different, man. Yeah, it's going to be different. Darko says the rebuild is over. Time to win. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's not exactly what he said. He said we had a successful first year of our rebuild, but now it's time to win. I don't think he said that the rebuild's technically over. I think he said that we had a good first year of the rebuild. And in some ways, the rebuild is really not over until you win the championship, right? So there's different stages of the rebuild. Now, playoff part of the rebuild is coming next year, hopefully. That's what we want. That's right. Classic card. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, Carlos. Okay. Blackhawk saying what's funny is I was a Battlestar Galactica and Buck Rogers fan as a kid. I didn't like Star Wars in the beginning. Now I watch everything Star Wars. Well, you guys have a real proclivity for sci-fi. That's what I've noticed. That's right. Stargate saying is a staunch Star Wars fan who has over 100 Star Wars books. So you're like Carl Lane. Disney Star Wars leaves a lot to be desired. The Legends material is way better. Andor is okay. It's not great, just okay. Wait, I thought you said it was the best Star Wars content ever made. To me, Empire Strikes Back is that, right? Empire Strikes Back. Maybe, out of the recent movies, I thought Revenge of the Sith was really good. Like those 2 movies stand out to me. I'm partial to Return of the Jedi too, because that's the one that was when I was really a kid and went and had all the figures. I had the Ewok village and that was a Jabba Hutt movie and all that stuff. I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough to say. I'm not totally into the first Star Wars, like as deep as Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And of course, that's the memories of having the Kenner dolls or action figures when I was a kid. And the whole hype in that period of time of Star Wars is totally different than Star Wars now. I don't know how you can recapture the way it felt to be an 80s kid around Kenner Star Wars action figures and all the play sets and, the way you were with your friends, like going over your friend's house and playing. And like they may have the Jawas and the Sand People and Ben Kenobi, and you may have like Darth Vader and R2-D2, and you're able to play with it, all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. I don't know, man. I don't know. You said Andor's really good, though, eh? Wayne saying, I'm betting on the Pacers reaching the Eastern Conference Finals and ultimately the NBA Finals. It's going to be tough, man. They got 2 really tough teams in between them getting that, and that is Cleveland and Boston. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Let the games be played. Indiana's got to beat Cleveland now. That's going to be a tough series. Very, very tough. Cleveland was the most dominant team in the first round. I would say, statistically, the Thunder very much rivaling them as a dominant team also, though. But those 2 teams are very dominant, and they're looking like they're the finals teams to me. Cavs versus Thunder. That's what it's looking like to me. Empire's the best Star Wars movie. The books are great. Okay, that's good right there. China just launched the world's largest 10G network. Interesting. That's an interesting comment, Trevor. All right, let's go. Classic card. We're on it. Let's see who we get today. I'm going to grab for the other side of the box today. Oh, wow. This is going to be interesting. All right, we'll do this. This is a newer card. It's not classic, but this player is really hard. And I don't even know how to give you guys clues on this guy. Let's just see if you know who he is. It's a shiny card, too. It's a prism card. It's recent, mosaic prism. What do you guys, do you know who this is? Somebody just know who it is. I don't want to give clues on this because this is really hard. If you know how to spell this player's name really well, I might give you 500 points today. I'm serious. If you could spell this guy's name correctly, I'll give you 500 points. If you can just get him, it's 300. This is a big time classic card right here. He's in the Kings jersey. If you can spell his name correctly, I'll give you 500 points. If you can just get him, I'll give you 200 if you can just get him. There's an extra 300 if you can actually spell it correctly. This is so hard. I don't even know how to give you guys clues on this name. I say his last name wrong every single time, and I'm not even going to try and figure out how to say his first name. This is crazy, man. No guesses. This may be a dead end. I don't know if you guys will get this one today. This is really hard. You guys don't remember who that is? This is a recent player. I think he's actually a rookie in this picture, so maybe he isn't that well known. Man, his last name starts with the two letters that former outfielder for the Tampa Bay Rays, Tyler. Or was he outfielder or second base? He had two initials as his first name. And that's the first two letters in this guy's last name. That may be too hard. Yeah, baseball player who played outfield and also maybe shortstop, second base for the Rays. His last name was Tyler. His first name was two letters. That may be, I don't know if that's a good clue. Baseball heads. Man, nobody's going to get this, are they? He kind of looks like a weird JJ Redick, a fat JJ Redick or something. Man, I don't know how to give you guys clues on this guy. I might have to just call it on this. Nobody's even trying or biting on this. Classic card. Come on, man. Let's not get stumped, y'all. This isn't really a classic card. This is a card from the last couple of years. Can anybody get this player? It looks like he's Kings 88. That may be wrong. That number may not be right. Nobody's going to try and guess, not even take a stab at it. Just make a funny choice. You have no idea, Stargate. Yeah. I wonder if I read the back of the card, if that would help you guys. You know what? I'm going to do something unprecedented. I'm going to show the back of the card without his name, and we'll read it. Oh, wait. It just showed his name in there. Yeah, okay. Slug Deezy. You wrote it in before, so you got it before. Did he spell it right? Holy crap, he did. He did spell it right. 500 points for Slug Deezy. You spelled it exactly right. Good job, man. You knew who it was and you were just trying to figure out how to spell it correctly to not fumble. Man, Slug Deezy, you have been really climbing with the classic cards and on the trivia points totals. You are on second now. You passed Kareem. And you are like really threatening, man. Like, especially if you get this, you got this 500 today. That's going to launch you even higher. You might be getting close to Fiercey now. Wow. Really impressed. And I appreciate you getting the classic card today. I'd rather somebody get it than not get it. Looks like we got a Lexathon. We're going to be done in the next 15 minutes, 3-hour stream. All right, once again, let's do the wrap-up, I guess. And we'll get anything that I forgot to do on the way. Gordon Hebert was hired, reportedly hired to be the next coach of the senior men's national basketball team for Canada, replacing Jordi Fernandez. That's a report by Grange. It's not totally official yet. It could be by now. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm happy with the hire. He's done a very good job with Team Germany in recent years, and I think he's going to do fantastic with our Canada guys. So I'm very excited about that. Of course, the Lakers got eliminated from the playoffs last night on a strong 2020 performance by Rudy Gobert. Fantastic stuff. LeBron saying that on his future, he has no answers about what his future holds for coming up very, very soon. Thompson twin stole the ball and helped the Rockets beat the Golden State Warriors in a rout last night. The game got close by the end. A little bit? No, it was 131 to 116. So, yeah, Rockets staying alive behind a strong performance by our Fred. doing a great job. Y'all, if you need to buy some seeds for the garden season coming up, go buy them from Ontario Seed Company. You can buy proudly Ontario seeds from a Canadian company. Also out west, there's West Coast Seeds. You can buy from them also. Remember, straight goods on buying Canadian goods right now. And we're avoiding American products as much as possible. No McDonald's, no Coca-Cola, no Starbucks as much as you can. Start buying Canadian more and more. And Ontario Seed Company is the place to buy your spring garden seeds for this coming up. Everything you buy, think about where you're buying it from. And if it emanates from the United States, you don't need to go there. That's what I'm doing more and more myself. The referees for tonight's games, very, very anti-Knicks. Tony Brothers, Ed Malloy, Mark Lindsay, all favoring the Pistons. And in the other game, David Guthrie and Tyler Ford favor David Guthrie favors the Nuggets, Tyler Ford favors the Clippers, and Curtis Blair is 50-50 right down the middle. Let's see what Raptors Reddit is talking about this morning. They're talking about how he mentioned Scotty Barnes as a point forward. That's pretty good. They also are talking about Gordon Hebert being the new coach of Canada. So, and John Hollinger of The Athletic is saying the Raptors are one of 4 teams that are a favorite to land Giannis this summer. Okay. They're also talking about, is Nash not appreciated by American media and players because he's Canadian? That could be part of it. Also, there's a strong sentiment that Shaq should have won the second MVP that he won and not him. All right, let's see what's going on Blue Skies. Is there anything newsworthy on Blue Skies breaking on the newsworthiness? Let me see. Most of it's just politics on my Blue Skies right now. I don't see anything Raptors or basketball related right now on the Blue Skies. It's all politics. We did the Instagram stories. Check out the 4 files, the Thailand trip. You can see the inside stuff on that. Happy birthday to Amir Johnson. And also a happy 41st birthday to Kareem Thomas, our dunk champion. It is his birthday today. We're very happy that. Y'all, we have one more opening in the WNBA Fantasy League. Somebody just take it. Seriously, the draft is in 3 days, and I'm going to need somebody to join this league before then. So we just need one more person to come in. Maybe I'll see if Peter will join real quick. Let's see. Is that it? I think that's about it here, guys. Let's see. No. That's it. That's all it right there, y'all. I'm happy with the Gordon and Bear hiring. I'm happy with the Open Gym episode yesterday. Fantastic. Thank you, Chris, for illuminating things about your situation with the Raptors. It sounds like he's in a good place, and he will try and re-sign with the Raptors if it works business-wise. Y'all, thanks for watching me today. I'll be back for the Friday Freakout, 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Every single day, we talk Raptors here, talk Team Canada, basketball, talk Toronto Tempo, talk CBL, talk Raptors 905. If it's basketball and it's Canadian, well, we're going to talk about it on this channel, on the Raptor Freak channel. We're proud Raptors fans, and we're proud of our culture and our history and our 30 years as a franchise. We're bona fide. And in some ways, like Masai said, this is a sustainable franchise and brand. And I look forward to the future of more endeavors and achievements for the Raptors franchise. That second Larry O'Brien championship is going to feel so good when it comes in the next few years. It's going to. I feel it. I know it, just like Masai says. All right, guys, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great Thursday. Enjoy your day. As Scotty would say, get out there and touch grass. It's the season, too. The grass is turning green, and it's getting all nice and beautiful outside. Spring is here. Let's go. May 1st. And I support all the protesters and people that are out there for the day of May Day. There's the day of labor. Workers, get out in the streets and stand up for their rights. And yeah, May Day is an important day. So happy May Day to all that celebrate and get out there and stand for the workers and the unions out there. All right, let's go, Raptors. Let's go, Raptor Freak family. Thank you, Monique. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, everybody, for being here once again. Thank you, Slug Deezy, for getting the classic card.